Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Good Movies podcast. Hopefully, we can take away a little bit of anxiety out of everybody who's been going through everything going on the last several days, and just kind of sit back and listen to us talk about more assassination stuff. No, I'm just joking. No, we might talk about assassination movies tonight because there are some interesting ones out there. Um, I haven't seen all of them, obviously, even though I'm interested in JFK, but I have seen a lot of the JFK, and there's a few other movies besides just JFK about the subject matter. So, and there's some regarding the other assassinations as well. Kennedy, uh, RFK, and I don't know if there's ever been a movie about MLK or not. I might be forgetting about it, but there's one about, but there's one about Lincoln, and I don't think they've ever talked about McKinley or Teddy Roosevelt too much.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they made that.
Form.
There's one about the trial of the guy that shot Medgar Evers, but who's kind of an underappreciated sort of civil rights leader / foot soldier.
Yeah.
But it's about it is what it is. They wanted to make a movie about the trial. It's just kind of funny to me that the star of the movie is Alec Baldwin. It's like and then Hollywood's going to be like, you have to do this and that, but that's I would rather see a movie about the actual person's life first, and then maybe a movie about the trial. But
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there, even fictional ones, it's some good ones. Like Targets, Roger Corman, what was that, Peter Bogdanovich directed movie. Came out on Blu-ray recently.
I really want to see that because, I'm a Karloff fan, so.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of movies out there. So I was talking about some before we came on. I got the list pulled up here, but a lot of them are considered. Some of them are, just assassin movies, not assassination movies, but a lot of them like, John Wick and stuff like that, Kill Bill, stuff like Red. Red is a good assassin movie, but I guess we're kind of here to talk about assassination movies. So. This was a good one I picked up on Arrow a while back. I don't know, it was Black Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Robert Shaw, Bruce Stern.
I remember. I'm sorry. The morning of 9/11, I didn't know what was going on. I went to the library to make some copies, and the librarian was like, "Oh," and I knew something was going on. I walked in the library and I was like, "What's going on here?" You could just feel something, right?
Yeah.
And then I overheard the one librarian say something about, it's like that movie Black Sunday. And then I went home and I turned on the TV, and then hours later I was like, wait, he was comparing this to a movie? Right when it was happening, I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
Well, it's funny it's on the back of I think it's on the back of the Megadeth cover. Peace sells, but who's buying? Like the back cover is like the Twin Towers in rubble. And the front cover is like something else. It's like the Pentagon or something on fire. So it's like there's weird little esoteric meaning, and it's weird how stuff like that happens. But
yeah, I think Dave Mustaine's always been kind of interested in politics and stuff, a lot in the lyrics and stuff. Mm-hmm. The lead singer of Megadeth.
He's been on Alex Jones and stuff before. I think he's friends with him a little bit. So yeah.
I thought you were talking about the blimp for a second, because I'm pretty sure there's some album cover that has a blimp on it. They had the fake Goodyear blimp in Black Sunday.
Oh, really?
But that's that's I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Well, I know, like Led Zeppelin had the Zeppelin on it.
Yeah.
But is that probably not what you're talking about?
No.
Let's see what else. There was like this one, the Day of the Jackal.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah. Which Fox brother is that? Edward Fox or?
Yes.
Edward
Fox. Yeah.
That scene where he's practicing with the explosive bullets.
Yeah.
He paints the face on the melon. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is so awesome. The book is good too.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to
Yeah.
look up any stuff like movies and stuff, so it's kind of got me thinking now. It's like, oh yeah, assassinations. So yeah.
I think the remake was okay, but I just don't remember much of it. With Bruce Willis, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I think assassinations, all Mr. Dan, I'll like this one. Buckwheat is dead.
Oh my god.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
If you're just joining us, Buckwheat is dead.
What was the guy's name that shot him? John Earl Stubbs or something like that?
Yeah.
yeah.
They gave him 3 names.
I
Yeah.
love you. I love you. Buckwheat is dead. The immortal kid actor is dead.
That was almost more like an SCTV skit because they would have skits that would build on each other. You know what I mean? Like they would just
But I liked how they did it like throughout the show.
Yeah,
It
right.
was like, and now Paul Simon, Buckwheat is still dead. You know. I love you. I love you. I know it's a sin.
The good days of Saturday Night Live.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably hard watching that show go downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I watched it too back in the '80s, but you guys probably got to see the. I guess I don't know how old Mr. Dan is. I apologize. I don't know.
I
I
remember,
can't tell anymore. Once you get to a certain age, you can't tell.
yeah, I remember seeing Eddie Murphy live, so
Yeah.
that'll tell you something.
Well, they've always been kind of, what do you call it? Like they could deal with politics and stuff and make and be stuff about it. But as politics have gotten kind of more sensitive now, it's hard to do that. You know, to be satirical anymore. You know.
Well, they don't know what they've
I mean,
got
I don't know.
because Biden would be gold mine. I mean, Trump is to some degree, but Biden, this Biden is gold mine.
Kind of like
Have you
Gerald
guys ever
Ford and
heard?
stuff.
Have you guys ever heard?
I was
had
just
the
going to
clue.
say that, Mike. Gerald Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, the Gerald
Yeah.
Ford ones, yeah.
Oh, when Chevy used
Yeah.
to do Gerald Ford.
Mhm. Yeah, he
I
just
was
asking for it.
really little about that, but my uncle would talk about that. You know, the next day. You know, what they were coming up with. And remember when Aykroyd used to do Nixon? Like watching it, he used to do Nixon, and Belushi used to do Kissinger.
Yeah.
In the,
Yeah.
you know, a live take from the White House, and they're in there
Yeah.
playing Yahtzee and shit like that.
Yeah. So you can't really do that now because that would just freak out somebody, and they would, you know what I mean? So they can't touch politics very deeply anymore like they used to. They could really go there, but they can't. You know, I don't know. That's what I think. You know.
Do you remember when?
Well,
Go ahead, John.
no, they just kind of go after one side. You know.
Yeah, sometimes they go for the low hanging fruit too. You know what I mean? It's not as clever as it used to be.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you
You're supposed
remember
to
when?
punch up? You know, you're supposed
Yeah,
to punch
right.
up. And the point of comedy. Sorry, but the point of comedy is you're like the court jester. You're supposed to go after the king. You're not supposed to side with the king. You know, and that's what a lot of comedians do this day. Because I listen to a lot of I listen to Jimmy Dore and stuff. He's a comedian, but he also has a show, like a political show, and he gets so mad anymore because he Jimmy's for the most part kind of a socialist, but he's like most socialists. It's weird. The socialists and communists and the leftists hate the liberals because I never heard shit lib come out of the mouths of socialists more than that because they consider themselves different. But regardless of that, they he's always talking about how he's lost so many friends during this era because he'll defend Trump or something because they'll be obviously lying about something he did, and he was mostly over COVID. You know, a lot of the COVID lies that came out and stuff, and And he said even after, he said they'll still be pushing that point even after it's been debunked. You know, it's COVID was over and masking was debunked. You know, all this stuff, and it's just crazy. But the whole point of comedy is to kind of poke fun at the establishment. You know, you're supposed to, and they're doing the opposite now. You know, whenever, because especially the worst is the talk show hosts. Like all the mainstream talk show hosts, they have the same opinion. Like, well, what the hell's up with that? They all paid off. I mean, Stephen Colbert used to be funny. I loved like Strangers with Candy, and even the Colbert Report I used to watch back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like Alex Jones. You know, everybody calls him a right winger, but he's not because I'm the same way. My politics have stayed the same, but I would be considered like a liberal back in the late '90s and early 2000s because I couldn't stand Bush, either one of them.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Sorry, you guys go ahead. I've talked.
You guys remember when Chris Farley went to the Congress as Newt Gingrich?
Yeah.
And he did a great impression. He was just cracking, but everybody was laughing. Like everyone in there was laughing and had a good time. And the next day, nobody was like had to condemn it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was just funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We could all do that at one time, and you didn't think so much about politics, like it is now. But I don't know.
I remember Will Ferrell used to say that President Bush came up to him and said, "You do it better than me than I do." You know, when he would when Will Ferrell was like, it was Massachusetts or something like that, because he would always screw up or have like this like big word or something like that, and he was asked about it, and Bush said, "I can't pronounce those words." So it was like they all had a humor about it.
Carvey was the best Bush impersonator.
Oh
Carvey wouldn't be prudent. I can't.
Right.
I wouldn't be prudent.
Yeah.
And then
I can't really remember. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. He did the best Bush Senior.
Yeah.
But Will Ferrell was doing.
Yeah.
George W.
When he used to do 1,000 points of light,
Yeah.
right bar,
Yeah. He mostly used his hands, for all the comedy points. It was all,
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Then he would pull out things that like Bush wouldn't do though. Like he's talking about, I don't know, it was Iraq or something. He was like attack like a scorpion, and he was like, and it was just like so unexpected, like the senior would never do that, but it was just so freaking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has changed now. Yeah, that's what was good back in the days, because we could all poke fun at ourselves a little bit, and we all had a good laugh. And it's just so different now. Humor, politics, and just with each other. Just being able to make fun of everybody, ourselves included, and you can't do it much anymore. So you can't be like the days of Airplane and. The naked gun jokes and stuff. You just can't do those potty humor stuff anymore. It's all
get your copies of Blazing Saddles now and put them in a vault, because
exactly, they're gonna be burning them all.
They got a whole new 4K set coming out soon for that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I guess it's just immortal.
Yeah, buy it while you can.
Yeah, no, right.
I got into it with somebody yesterday on my blog page. Because yesterday it was the 43rd anniversary of Arthur with Dudley Moore coming out.
Yeah.
And I just put a simple quote on there, because like I just basically on my blog I just put 43 years ago Arthur came to theaters, made $85 million, and I said, and here's another movie that you couldn't remake today. You should have seen, like, you asshole. Like, I'm like getting all these like comments on there. It's like they made it in 2011. I'm like, okay, was he a lovable drunk? I didn't see the Russell Brand one. It was like, did he drunk drive? Did he? And I was like throwing all these things up there, and then like John would know more than I would about, because we were talking about this a couple weeks ago about It's Sunny in Philadelphia having episodes removed from the streaming services.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And he was like, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Dude, look." And I pulled up, and he goes, "Oh, maybe you're right." I'm like, "What the fuck? I'm not putting out anything that that's like frivolous or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the difference
Yeah.
in having physical media
Yeah.
and streaming. That's a good example right there.
Hey, Jim.
It just disappear. You never see it again or something,
Mhm. Hey, Jim. Jim just put out some great videos
Okay.
today about some of his favorite sequels.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really like Jim's channel. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
great guy.
Want to check it out.
Knows his stuff.
I'm really bad about. I don't watch a lot of physical media stuff because I was telling
Hold on,
Kenny
hold
last
on.
week
Time
I
out,
spend too
Billy.
much money.
You buy movies and you don't watch them?
No,
Uh-oh.
I don't watch any movie channels. I don't watch any
Oh, okay.
movies.
I'm sorry.
No,
I thought
I
you
just-
said I don't
I just
watch
buy
any
'em for
movies. I was
looks.
like, the hell, you
Yeah.
got a stack of movies right beside you. What is it?
no.
It's the artwork.
Yeah, I like the artwork.
The artwork.
I like the box. Cardboard.
That's what I think you're doing. You're getting the boxes and making a pretty art and go, hey, look, I got this one.
Exactly.
I'm
I
busting.
have to.
you,
I have
John.
to keep up with all the the big movie people around here. That's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, the big
Oh,
movie
you-
hipsters.
Dude, you
Yeah.
can't keep up with everybody. You just can't.
Mm.
Sorry, Sydney. I saw. I brought yours back up. I have not seen that. Is that on one of the streaming or is that in the theaters? I apologize. My movie watching has been really bad this year.
I don't think
I
I've,
haven't been.
I don't think
not
I've heard
viewing.
that one.
Yeah, I missed that one.
I did
I'm gonna-
watch. I
I'm gonna
did
write
watch
down
Poker
some now.
Face with Russell Crowe though. It was on the Hamilton book. Don't spend your money on it.
Oh,
It's not that good, and he wrote and directed it too. That's
really?
the problem. Yeah. I love Russell
fuck
Crowe.
you
I'll
too.
watch anything. I'll watch anything he's in, but it's just
No, my problem with movie channels, Jim, is that when I watch people's movie channels, there's always stuff that I don't have, and I'll spend like $80 if I watch somebody's channel,
Yep.
and that's why I told Mike a long time ago I can't hardly watch your channel because you pull up stuff when I see that stuff I like, man, I've got to have that movie. I mean, I have to. It's just something I want to watch, and I end up freaking spending $50 or $60, and I don't know.
I do the same thing, man, on other channels.
Because I'm not offended if nobody. Well, I haven't made a video in a long time, so I'm not offended if nobody's watching mine either.
Well, I wrote between Mr. Dan's channel and Mike's channel, the last one, because Mike had I have a soft spot for Charles Bronson and that part due. I was just like writing it down. I'm like, okay, don't have White Buffalo.
Yeah.
Don't have don't have that, and I always check like the Tubi or not a sponsor yet,
Yeah.
or
that-
something like that.
Yeah, that's why I did it, just to kind of recommendations, if somebody's like
Oh,
getting
yeah.
into them and like, hey, what's this, and actually hear somebody like me or you, average guys watching movie fans, and like, yeah, watch this one, skip this one maybe, but
Yeah.
That's all, but very simple.
Yeah, I got a lot of the film noir collections I own is because of from Mike's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, there's a good assassination one with Frank Sinatra. Sinatra, Suddenly. That's a pretty good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, also,
Yeah. I was getting
Manchurian
ready to.
candidate. The Manchurian candidates also.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
This
that's
is a
good.
good one here.
yeah.
Yeah.
With Warren
yeah,
Beatty,
yeah.
Much more
I was thinking
well-known,
about
yeah.
that one, John. Yeah.
Parallax View. This one's really good.
But it doesn't really talk about a certain real life person. It's a made up
Right,
person.
yeah. It's more like
Or-
what do you call it? Like a bottleneck movie in the house. That's where all the tension is. But
Mm.
they have to be in this one house to have the vantage point to take the shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't really know
yeah.
anything about the person they're shooting. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's only that's one of those ones that's like not even an hour and a half. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
it's-
easy one to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
Suddenly.
Oh, Suddenly.
Yeah.
I have to
suddenly-
check that one out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, a good JFK one that nobody talks about that I didn't know about till a couple of years ago, or maybe last year even, that I ran into was it's this one, executive action,
Mm,
excuse me.
mm.
Burt Lancaster, Robert Ryan.
Yeah, yeah. I
Never
was
seen that.
looking at that one time, because I was looking at all the oddball movies that like Lancaster or Ryan made.
Yeah,
Just kind of checking through them and seeing if they're on video and stuff. And I've never seen it
yeah,
though. I like to check it
yeah.
out.
It's a good. It's definitely um, sides more on the conspiracy side of things, but it sides instead of being, well, it does side. It sides with more of like kind of big business being behind it, and I think it's just using the deflection. But they have the people in it or who are setting it up have like these government contacts that they don't really call them that, but that's what. So there's like some connection in there with but it's interesting. I think that it actually has the multiple. I think it has the multiple Oswalds in there. Like there was probably a bunch. There's been a lot of Oswalds running around. People using his name. Like even when he was in Russia, people were using his name. And then when he came
Hmm.
back, people were using his name to buy like trucks and things. I mean, a lot of this stuff you can get in the JFK movie, but if you read, you get more elaboration on all the different subject
Hmm.
matters.
Yeah.
And as far as the JFK movie goes, most it, it's pretty much most of everything in the movies held up. There've been a few things debunked because we actually finally got some information. A lot of the papers that were going to be held for 75 years have been released over the past 30 because of the JFK movie.
Mm.
They slowly
Yeah.
started releasing these records. And there's been people dedicated for staying at the National Archives who have been photocopying and doing the research and getting the right papers pulled. And we've came up. That's how they figured out there that there was there was two women that were on like in the school book depository. They were on like the fourth floor, or the third or fourth floor, and they never saw Oswald come down the steps, and he would have had to have been flying and running down the steps. They never heard anybody, never saw anybody, because we know he was like on the first floor when the police came in with the manager right after the shooting. He was on the first floor drinking a Coke. So, and these people would have seen him, and one of the women, like, they gave their testimony to the Warren Commission, but the Warren Commission got rid of it, got rid of her testimony, and they found her testimony in the archives that had been covered up, and they found out who she was, and I think we're able to maybe even enter. She may have still been alive at one point. It was crazy, stuff like that. But I picked up that 4K set last December. I
Oh yeah.
cannot figure out why because it was the 65th or 70th anniversary last year, and they released this in December, not in November 22nd or in November. Made no sense. It's the Shout Special Edition.
Yeah. That was pretty. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
it's still, to this day, I guess, kind of like the Titanic.
yeah,
The JFK assassination's just you still drawn to it, and it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
like trying to figure it out, kind
yeah.
of, But I don't know what it is about it. To
I
me,
just like that kind of stuff, alternative history, and because it's just like
Yeah,
in reality you will never solve it because I mean there's nobody to prosecute anymore,
yeah,
and there
yeah,
never really was because you were never going to find out who the actual assassins were because they were
mm,
professionals. They disappeared or they probably killed them at some point afterwards. Anyways, they probably had them
yeah,
killed, and a lot of the witnesses were killed. Uh, I have the book over there, but there's a whole book of it's just the people who was murdered after the fact. Like people say, well, nobody knew about it. How they keep it a secret for so long? Well, I mean, a lot of people did know, eyewitnesses and things like that had a different point of view than the Warren Commission. So they somehow
mm,
committed suicide by chopping their own head off with an axe. Stuff like that.
yeah,
A whole
yeah.
lot of that.
Well, even the like Marilyn Monroe, like who killed her,
Yeah,
is kind of like interesting, angles about it. But
Mhm.
yeah,
true or false, I don't know.
Yeah. But You know, did you? I thought when you were getting that out, John, I thought maybe, just maybe, you were going to pull out a movie called Flashpoint. You guys ever hear of that one?
Yeah,
I've
I've
heard
It's-
of it, but I don't.
Yeah, it's with Chris Christopherson and Treat Williams, and they're border patrol agents. They find a car, an abandoned car, and it's got a newspaper from '63, a rifle, like $800,000, and a skeleton. So it's got something to do with JFK. And at the end, some people come after them, and it's pretty cool because they got these sensors to protect it. And it's supposed to be, that was supposed to be like new technology at the time. These motion detectors. So they kind of use that in the climax to figure out where these mysterious agents are coming. But it's kind of a low key
Yeah.
film. It's only tangentially about JFK, but it's almost like, you know, somebody finds what would happen if someone found some evidence, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I wrote that
No,
down. That sounds real good. I might try to check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out too. Flashpoint. I haven't seen it. I that's what we kind of talked about at the beginning. I mean, if he would actually, we wouldn't be. I wouldn't talk about it for sure if somebody had actually died. Well, I'm sorry, somebody did die, but
Right.
Which I guess maybe that kind of, it's kind of bad though, where it was such. It's pretty bad. Somebody did die, and then for some reason, that's all been kind of washed over for some reason, and it's kind of weird. But
Yeah, I haven't really
I
heard
don't know.
anything about the other guy, the what do you
Firefighter.
call it?
Yeah, he was like a fire
the-
chief or something like that.
Yeah, the civilian guy. Yeah.
Someone was describing him as a young man. I think he was 50. So, you know,
Yeah.
wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jim said he watched that one with it too. That Flashpoint, that's one of those movies. I think it came on HBO, and I remember watching it with my dad. And he had to sort of explain a little bit of the JFK stuff to me, you know. But as a kid, I wasn't picking up on that. But
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to check that one out for
yeah,
sure.
I think it's got
That
Rick
didn't come up.
too. It's a good one.
I mean, there's other movies like the Professional. I love that scene where they're shooting with the air rifle. He's teaching her to shoot, and if they're literally shooting, they're like shooting at some kind of, is it either a city official or some kind of. I mean, they're like, and they shoot and like everybody like their Secret Service. It's pretty crazy, that scene. It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. It's got Chris Christopherson in Flashpoint.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I always
interesting.
liked him. It cracks me up when like I'll put on I'll be in the mood for some Chris Christopherson music, and I'll watch like a YouTube video and someone is like, "Hey, it's the old guy from Blade." It's like,
Yeah. It's that old guy.
I'll have to look it up later. I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that while I'm on the. Yeah, and the Line of Fire. It's a good movie.
Cinemax right now.
Yeah,
I was
I
on
forget-
Cinemax. Yeah.
I forget stuff.
Cool.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I'll check it out.
That's all the movies I don't, except for some of these others, like in the Line of Fire and things like that. I have a copy of, but I didn't bring those out. I just tried to bring out stuff that's fairly related to JFK. I also have this, but this is a documentary that JFK revisited.
It's pretty cool.
Wasn't there one with Christopher Walken and Johnny Depp that was like in real time?
Nick of Time.
There you go. Yeah, you had some kind of play on words. Yeah. I don't think I ever saw it, but the premise was neat.
Yeah, I like.
There's what is that movie called? It's called what's the name? Crap, the hospital. Parkland. That Parkland movie, I think. But I haven't. I don't think I've ever watched it because I don't like necessarily the.
Then you got like
Point
a
of view.
maybe it's a subgenre of like all the political intrigue assassination type movies, you know?
Yeah.
Like Secret Agents and stuff. I mean, could that be kind of in that subgenre
Oh yeah.
of assassinations and stuff?
Assassin movies. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, assassin movies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's pretty much what I had pulled up. It's kind of a mixture of both. You know, you got like the American, and we were talking earlier about In Bruges, Colin Farrell movie.
Oh yeah, I've
That
never
was a
seen
good
that
one.
yet. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. It's been out
Yeah,
forever.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson and Ralph Fiennes is in that movie as well.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I have it, but I think I've seen it in the theater for sure.
Mm.
Valkyrie, that was another good. That's about
Oh
the
yeah.
assassination of Hitler.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually really good. Yeah. Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah, that was a real that really happened too.
Yeah.
That was a real event.
Was
Mhm.
it, there was an older movie too, right? I believe
I think so. Yeah,
from
Probably
the
so.
50s or 60s. Yeah, I think
yeah, I
there was.
believe so.
I remember seeing a scene from it because when he put the briefcase under the table, somebody accidentally kicked it, so they shoved it deeper into the table, under
Yeah,
the table, and it was a heavy oak table, and that's
yeah,
why it
yeah,
muted the blast. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, another good one's Ghost Dog. Well, as far
Oh
as
yeah.
assassin movie goes.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Assassination with Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
don't think
that's
I've
a
seen
good
that one.
That's a good one.
I need to get it though. I've seen it, but I don't own it.
And of course, the mechanic, he's an assassin in that too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
That whole opening sequence as he's planning to get the guy across the street, it's so elaborate. It goes
Oh
on
yeah.
and on and
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
but
That's
he,
pretty cool.
he knows exactly what he's doing. That's a good one. That's a good movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
sorry, I got
It's got-
behind on the super chat. This person. Yeah,
Yeah, he's like that in a few movies. Like he has similar role,
Mhm.
role. A lot of them.
Yeah, well, he's such like a calm guy. He's so good at those like methodical roles.
Yeah.
Like
Like in
even though you know he
his
can punch you in the face.
expression.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and his expression, it's
Yeah,
kind of hard to sometimes read him. He can
Yeah.
throw you off a little bit instead of just having a clear, you know what I mean, like an acting.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah. Like in the Dirty Dozen when he's doing the ink blot test,
Hmm.
he gets no reaction out of him at all.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
a great cast in that.
I totally forgot about Nashville. That's got an assassination in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think
that's a
that's
pretty
kind
good
of
one.
about the movie, isn't it? Is the whole movie kind of lead up to that? That's kind of
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Robert Altman, so he's got all these
Yeah.
different little characters coming together and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Vantage Point. Yeah, seems like I've heard about that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it or seeing the previews. I never saw it though. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's movies that I wouldn't seen back in the '90s because I used to, like all of us, used to go to the theater a lot, and that especially the mid to late '90s, especially when I saw a lot. So I saw a lot of things that I can't remember. I got a movie. I just got this on 4K, Phantoms,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I
And-
remember that.
after watching it, I was like, I think I saw this because I remember it gets mentioned in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back whenever that scene with
Affleck was
him.
the bomb in Phantoms.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I'm
Well,
like,
that's-
I don't
that's
know
where
if
I
I've
heard
seen
of
that
it at.
movie.
oh
But
really?
after watching it, I was like, I feel like I've seen this movie before because I didn't own it before I bought the 4K, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie. It felt familiar. Maybe it's just because it's a
Mhm.
kind of it's a sci-fi horror. So
It's,
Right,
it's like
right.
it's like they did a few like that at the time or something.
Yeah,
like
it might
late
just
90,
be-
early. Yeah, there's a lot
Like,
of
where
that
is
kinda-
everybody? Where'd everybody go? It's like
Yeah, those similar ones like that. Yeah, but that's where I heard of the movie at from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and like, man, I gotta check this thing out. I guess and I rented it back then, but
I may have actually read the book first because I was reading not all because the guy wrote like 500 books, but I was reading a lot of Dean Koontz books back then.
yeah, Dean Koontz. Yeah,
So I know I read the book. So the book
Yeah.
was a little different, but pretty good.
yeah, he was really popular back then.
Rashomon. Yeah. It's an assassination movie told in the style of Rashomon. Okay, which one? Was that? Oh yeah, okay, that's this one here.
Vantage Point. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I need to check that out. I can't remember if I've seen it or not.
Yeah,
So-
I remember the cover of it.
See, it's
I
a
may have
problem. I'm wanting to
seen
buy movies already. There's already 2 movies.
it. Yeah.
I need to buy. I can't remember if I've seen that one or not, but
Yeah.
like another assassin movie is Gross Point Blank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Kind of,
Yeah.
My I tell you, one person that didn't like that movie is my wife. She didn't get it when they were like shooting each other and talking at the end. She was like, she didn't get the tone of it. You know what I mean? She was like, "Why are they talking to each other?" Like,
Yeah.
yes, and Bruce is really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something, but there's a ton of movies with this kind of.
Oh yeah, the Jackal. Yeah.
Yeah, the Jackal's kind of an underrated movie. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it came before the what do you call it? The Matt Damon, what's his name?
Warren.
The Matt Damon movies.
Yeah, Born.
Yeah, Born. Yeah, for the Born movies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Jackal was 98,
Yeah.
97 around there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's kind of feels like that a little bit.
I just, to get off topic, I just watched Striking Distance with Bruce Willis the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's such an underrated
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
underappreciated movie.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah.
But apparently, I was reading up about it on. If you go on the IMDb, they always tell you like trivia about the movie and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And Willis and the director did not get along at all together. Willis is like, this is the worst movie ever
Mhm.
because if you notice, he had to reshoot some of the scenes, so his hairstyle is totally different from scene to scene in that.
Yeah.
You mean he went
Yeah.
more bald?
No, he had more hair.
Oh yeah.
Because I think he was doing he did that movie where he had the long hair. I can't remember it right offhand because I was like looking.
No.
I can't think of it either.
Yeah, I can't. Let me look it up because I was like laughing because his hair's like totally different and different. Where he was talking to Fraser's dad in the car,
Yeah.
and his hair's like longer than it was like 3 minutes ago when they were in the same car talking.
Yeah, I got this DVD set that's got that, like all Bruce Willis movies. There's like 8 of them on there. I think it's
Yeah.
from Mill Creek or something. I'm getting ready to. I haven't watched that one out of it yet though, but it's a pretty cool
Is that
set.
on there, Mike? Because I have the same set. I don't think that's on there.
Oh, I was thinking it was on there because I know it's got like Hudson Hawk and stuff like that. I have to double check.
No, I
I'm
haven't seen the Eagle.
I thought it was on there, but yeah, the Eagle Has Landed. That's another pretty good one.
Saw it on TV with my dad, but I don't remember too much of it. So that's one I would definitely want to rewatch.
Yeah, we mentioned Leon earlier. Leon. I guess you can call him Leon. Leon the assassin.
Leon.
Leon the professional.
That's one I wish they'd make a sequel to, honestly.
Really?
I think it'd be awesome. Getting Natalie Portman grown up, she's doing the same gig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's got a pretty good cult following now. You know,
Mhm.
than before. Yeah.
What do you think about La Femme Nikita? Do you think that character is supposedly the same? The John. It's not. He don't have his name isn't Leon, but he's in that movie as well, where they're
Yeah.
training her to be an assassin, and he's like the senior assassin.
I don't know.
Have you seen La Femme Nikita?
I think that's a
Jody?
different.
Yeah, it's
that's
been a
a-
long time since I saw it. Yeah, I never even crossed my
I'm
mind.
positive it's probably a different person, but sometimes they do weird. He does
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't think he's like universe oriented.
Yeah, it might be a
But
little different from that
yeah,
because the same director made it,
yeah.
everything, but
I mean, he
don't
gets
know.
killed in there. That
Yeah.
character gets killed,
Yeah,
but sometimes there's like that little weird stuff like that. It's kind of like the Quentin Tarantino, like he does things like that. He has some of the characters how they tie together, like one
Mhm.
brothers, like how they some of the people in Reservoir Dogs were like the brothers or something of other characters in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
yeah, Kenny, I think you're right, man. That's not on that one. I think it has Mercury Rising, and that's
Yeah.
Okay.
one I was
Sorry,
wanting to
I'm getting
watch.
behind. 2000.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
that's
you're right, Kenny,
Munich.
about that.
Yeah, Munich's a good movie.
Oh yeah, Munich. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry when I talk about uh, Luke Luke Besson movies is like I always like it's just Nikita or it's just like Leon. There's no I don't know why they tagged that stuff in why they did that for in the American releases. I don't know why they thought that would make it any more interesting or why he allowed it to happen. I mean, unless the distributor said we got to rename it. I mean, I know they did that sometimes, but
Oh, yeah.
it's not like Leon or Nikita was like just by themselves. It was like, why do you have to say, well, it just means the girl Nikita.
Right.
You know, that's all it means. Is like it's not like you're like we don't have that in English. We don't have that kind of. We don't do that kind of feminine or masculine type of when we refer to somebody's name like they do in like French or other languages, Spanish.
yeah. Yeah, I remember when La Femme Nikita came out on VHS. I rented it, and it was like one of the only movies that came out letterboxed, like on the VHS, which was really rare back in those days. I thought that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah,
like
Terminator. Yeah, that's it.
90. What was that? 91, 92. That movie came out.
I
Yeah.
just looked it up. Let me see.
I hope the Terminator movies get a good 4K release.
90. Yeah.
90.
Which one? La Femme Nikita.
The Femme Nikita. 90.
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they made a show or something. They made a show about it.
On USA Network.
What was that? One of those
Yeah.
He made a movie several years ago now, but it's a. I think did it have De Niro in it? Or I can't remember which actor was in it, but it was about a family who had to move from. It was a gangster. It was like a gangster family who had to move to. They had to move to. Well, it wasn't a gangster family. It was a.
I think it was called.
It was like a mob guy who he got caught up in something, but had to move to France. And he's like living in this small town, but they're like but their mom. I'll have to look it up
Michelle
here in a minute.
Pfeiffer, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't remember if it's De Niro or one of the other. It's one of the other kind of big.
I think it's called The Family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was pretty good. That's another kind of assassination
Yeah, he's made some good movies.
or assassin movie. The Conspirator. Sorry, guys, I've got behind on. And a lot of times I don't
We're
like
all
to
over the
interrupt
place.
these guys when they get talking, so I apologize. I don't like to just break in all the time with chats. So I appreciate it though. We appreciate you guys sending your conversation in. It helps move along our conversation and redirects it sometimes. So I really like it. So thank you.
Jim brings up a good one. Point of No Return with Bridget Fonda.
Is it a good remake? You know,
Mhm.
the Mardi Gras scene was really good. You know,
Whatever happened to her? She just like
yeah, I don't know. Kind of
she
faded
just
away, huh?
disappeared. Yeah,
Bridget
Yeah.
Fonda.
she's a very
Yeah.
good actress.
I think she's just like a
IMDb used to
family.
be so good.
I think she's just
Yeah.
like got family and she's just got the home life going. Kind of semi-retired, maybe.
Good for her. It's just
I
it's
think-
just a shame I miss her on screen. She had
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
was
Jim,
pretty
Internet
common.
Movie Database used to be good back in the it was good like back in the late night when it first kind of came into existence, like the late '90s, early 2000s, because they used to have a section where whatever movie you looked up, they would have like the bloopers, and maybe they still do, but I don't. It used to be pretty prominent, but they have like facts and bloopers and things in the movies that was interesting. But now it's mainly just, I guess it's kind of gossip news type
Yeah.
channel anymore. It's not. I mean, they got a lot of facts on people, but you can get just as good of facts on Wikipedia or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Sometimes I'm a little wary of you
Yeah.
just, I try not to just repeat what's on there if I'm reviewing a movie. I try to sort of try to confirm it a little bit. They had, because, I sort of got into all these, when I got the Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee, I was started to get interested in the different guys that were like the clones. And unless two of them have the exact same birthday, which I doubt, the internet database has the biography of one guy under another guy.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, those are more obscure actors. I mean, they're not going to do that to Jack Nicholson, I don't think. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think for the most part I mean, obviously the Tarantino movies exist in a universe. I watched the video the other day. I can't remember exactly what they were talking about. They were talking about his universe. I think they were talking about, like, they were supposed to. It's kind of talking. I think it was talking about the sequels that just never happened. That was supposed to happen from Tarantino. Or stuff he just talked about making sequels of, and which we'll never get any of that stuff. I think he's only going to make like one more movie or something like that. He just wants to make 10 movies, and whether that actually ends up being, I don't know why anybody would do that or not, because especially when some of the great filmmakers of all time, John Ford and stuff, they made hundreds of movies, and I'm not saying they're all good, but the biggest body of their work is pretty incredible.
This is for Jim's question. I think it's Michael Parks, Jim.
Oh, okay. Michael Parks character.
That's what I was looking up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen King does that in his books a lot too. He puts little, I don't know if you call them Easter eggs, but little, somebody will mention Cujo in a different book just in passing,
Yeah. Yeah. Or see a poster on the wall or something,
Yeah.
or in a movie scene or book, or even in a book, maybe mention something. Yeah, like you said, yeah. I like what Alfred Hitchcock did, where he always tried to make a little cameo somehow. Like, there he is. Some movies just walk by, and some he's doing something,
Which one was he in The Fountain?
What's that, Kenny?
Which one was he in The Fountain?
The Fountain? Oh.
I don't remember. We were talking about that, and I just remember him being in The Fountain, where the main characters are like talking, and he's just big fat guy, like standing in the middle of a fountain, walking out of the fountain.
That might be The Man Who Knew Too Much, though.
I think that's true.
Yeah, the Jimmy Stewart version in color. That one from the 50s.
Yeah.
That's probably
and then,
that one.
And then in Lifeboat, there's only so many people in that movie, so someone picks up a newspaper, right? And there's a picture of him in the newspaper.
Yeah, that's pretty clever,
I mean,
it's so simple, but it's so clever,
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, otherwise, like, how was he going to be in it? Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
M. Night started doing that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that because he was kind of starting that again. It was made it kind of interesting for a while there. It's like, what would he do next?
I don't. Has anybody ever heard of the assassination of Richard Nixon? It had Sean Penn and Don Cheadle.
Nope.
No.
That it must have been made for like one of the movie channels or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe if I've seen the cover or scene from it, I might recognize something from it. But
yeah, it didn't look familiar at all to me. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't know I think you guys were talking about assassination of Jesse James.
Point and no return.
Or something. That's a good. I think that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's a pretty good Western.
Mm-hmm.
It's too long now, Mike.
Yeah, it's 2 hour plus it's like 2.5 hours or something like that. I always think of it as pretty long, so sometimes I don't get it, watch it. But it's pretty good though. It's
Yeah.
kind of drawn out. Maybe it could be
Yeah.
tightened up a little bit,
Mhm.
but but
With that ending, you know it's coming, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's like this feeling of dread. The same thing with Malcolm X. You know it's going to happen, and it's just like
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
it's like
That,
horrifying
that,
when it unfolds.
Holy crap!
yeah. That way they have to kind of the director and stuff have to kind of make it good somehow because you know what's going to happen. So let's do
Right.
it. Let's try it somehow. I don't know. They have to make it good though because you know it's gonna, you know how it's going to be. So
Here we go. Got behind again. Appreciate the comments. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think you probably already mentioned Point of No Return
Yeah.
before I found. Yeah,
mhm.
it's been a long time since I've seen that.
yeah.
It's a remake of Nikita. Yeah.
It's a good Gabriel Byrne role too. Because I always like when he has like a good role because sometimes he's in a movie he doesn't
Yes, in there.
doesn't really get to do a lot or
Yeah, it gets kind of wasted in some.
Yeah, he gets kind of
movies.
wasted. I did not like his character in Hereditary. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not very memorable, you know.
Right? Yeah, like they could have got anybody to do that, but when he has a good role, it's like after you finish it, you're like you can't imagine anyone else doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who was married to Danny Elfman?
Bridget Fonda, Jim was saying.
Richard
Yeah.
Fonda. Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that? I seem like. Isn't that one of those pictures that I always see come up on the internet and say, oh, this person don't act anymore, but she looks horrible.
Oh yeah, they do those clickbaity things, and sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes
I don't know if it's real.
else.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's even real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. You fall for
Those
it
are-
sometimes.
Those are some bad ones.
Yeah. Some
I
of
mean,
them are
yeah,
completely odd. You're like, oh man, that's crap. You wouldn't even click on it, but some of them get you though.
some of them get you
Yeah.
right because you're like, could that be the person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember they
It's
had
possible.
this is Terry Weigel. Remember Terry Weigel? For
I
you,
think so.
for us in the late '80s, she was like Penthouse. She was like on all Penthouse and like porn movies in the late '80s, early '90s. I say they said, and this is her now. It's that fat bitch with what's that? Honey Boo Boo.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
like, are you kidding me?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pick. Don't pick somebody from a reality TV show. Pick a random person to try.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like some of the comments. Boy, she let ourselves go. Boy, I'm like, it's not even the same person. You don't even know who the hell it is.
So, yeah, some people fall for anything, man. It's just that's the way it is now.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, I'm not saying you have to make 100 movies. In this day and age, I think it's impossible to make that kind of movies. You have to, because I mean, back in the the golden age of movie, or I guess
Like the studio system.
I guess John Ford probably started in the silence. I guess some of his
Yeah.
early movies are probably silence,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah,
They used
he
to
started
crank,
hit some
they used to
silence.
crank them out back then. I mean, especially
Yeah,
the westerns.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So see, back then, if you had a good director and a good script and actors and stuff, even though it was being turned out one after another, it could
Yeah.
be possibly be a really good classic. That
Yeah.
would come out of the one after another.
exactly.
And stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you figured, like Jim mentioned, Sergio Leone. Like he
Yeah.
most of his movies have like an epic sweep to them. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
so I think they probably took a little more
Yeah. A little more time. Yeah.
time to film and everything. So,
Yeah, like because he would do like one a year as opposed to somebody making like 3 or 4 a year or some director or something. So yeah.
There was just something in Hollywood Reporter today that I'll give you guys the link when we're done about Viggo Mortensen going crazy on because MGM and somebody just merged. Amazon did Amazon buy MGM? Well, anyway, Ron Howard
Yeah,
made this
I think
movie
so.
for MGM, and it was before the merger. And they said, oh, they would wide release it because Colin Farrell. You should see the cast in this. it's like mind bending, like the cast in this. And Vigo said, they were all ready for the Colin Farrell push because they were basically after he got like screwed out of the Banshees movie of winning Best Actor. This is going to be Colin Farrell's year, to win it. And then they're putting it on. It's on Amazon Prime now.
Yeah.
And like Vigo just came out and he goes, "You can't do that to an Oscar winner," and Ron Howard. And Ron Howard's too nice of a guy to, say anything about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, just put it on there and stuff like that." He goes, "This movie could have made like about $300 million."
Oh yeah.
And they script and like it's a shame because they said like the performances of Vigo and Colin Farrell. Let me look it up because that's bothering me now. Because I had it and I read the cast is like gross. It's like unbelievable. Like how many there's like Tom Hanks has a cameo in it. It's like crazy the cast in this, and it's just like
Yeah, he usually has good pull, and get the big movies, for the most time. I mean,
Yeah,
he'll turn out a good movie in the studio, mainstream type.
It's
of
called
movie,
13 Lives. It's now streaming on Amazon Prime. It has Vigo, Colin Farrell, Joel Edgerton, Paul Gleason, and then like a whole bunch of other ones. But then it has like cameos. It has Melanie Griffith. It has Tom Hanks. Who else is in it? I was looking for his brother because his brother's got to be like a reporter or something in it,
Oh yeah.
But it was just like, Jennifer Aniston has a like uncredited cameo in this, so it's like there's like tons of like mainstream people in there, and they just said, yeah, let's
Yeah.
But
Well, whatever happened to like advertising a movie? It's like Mike said, he's got such a good track record.
yeah,
Like a Ron Howard movie. Make a list of his, because I bet most people are like, oh yeah, he did this one and this one and this one. But if you really start naming them, you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's right, I forgot about this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
That's how they used to advertise movies,
Yeah.
like
from the maker of Apollo 13, from the director of Splash.
where Jim mentions John Carpenter. Everything was always John Carpenter's.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's what Tarantino does too, right? Quentin Tarantino presents
Yeah. Or I think it's like a film by
a film
or
by
or a Quentin Tarantino film or something. He has his own title card, stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, that's sad if it's gonna go straight to streaming, because that's got to have some box office appeal, People like he's got an established name, he's probably got a good film, so they'll go see it. So I don't.
Yeah, that's a good. Jim brought up Joe Dante there.
Mhm.
I had to look up. I wasn't sure what his last movie, and just looking back to his filmography is incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hollywood Boulevard, Grand Theft Auto, Piranha, Rock and Roll High School, The Howling, Twilight Zone. Well, that segment he did for Twilight Zone, the movie. Gremlins, Explorers, Inner Space. And in '87 alone, he did Inner Space and Amazon Women on the Moon, which I love that movie. Have you guys seen that?
It's been a
What's
long
that?
time since I've seen it.
Amazon Women on the Moon. It's like it's kind of like a Kentucky Fried Movie, sort of.
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
like
I think that was up
spoofs.
on like Up All
Yeah.
Night with Rhonda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
On
It's got a lot
The
of
Birds.
spoofs.
One of my favorites, The Birds.
Yeah, he's like the ultimate cult director.
Yeah.
Like every movie he's made is a cult classic, and he's living.
Yeah.
He's kind of the Roger Corman now.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
he's not shy
He
about
didn't-
jumping in documentaries about cult films. I mean, he's in like every single damn one.
that's what I was gonna say, Dan. He's in everything. He's like one of the spokesmen now. But he's a good spokesman.
Yeah, no, he's good at it. He's got that Trailers from Hell YouTube channel. I don't know if it still goes on. That's really cool. You get to see other directors and actors and actresses introduce movies and talk about them. And boy, you can go down if you watch a bunch of those videos, Kenny, you'll need to get your notepad out.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a lot of movies based on those.
Yeah. I still get updates saying there's a new one out. Like on YouTube say, hey, it's a new Trailers from Hell. So I was like, okay. So
He
they still
did
put him out.
Matinee, Small Soldiers.
Yeah.
Explorers, he did too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
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 He did The Hole too. That was a pretty
Mm-hmm.
crazy movie.
Yeah. It's like every one of them's like, you know,
Yeah.
a cult film now. Or
He did an episode of I think it was the '80s Twilight Zone. It's about a kid that sees like a shadow person in his room. It's pretty, it's only like 20 minutes long, but it's pretty good.
oh yeah,
That's pretty
wasn't
wild.
that Steven Spielberg show?
Amazing stories.
Amazing Stories. Yeah, maybe it was on that, or I
Let's
can't.
see.
Well, I thought it was the Twilight Zone reboot, but it could have been. I don't remember.
Okay, yeah.
It says 86. Okay, no, he did 85, The Twilight Zone, The Shadow Man.
Shadow
Oh,
Man,
okay.
yeah, yep.
Okay.
But he
Okay.
did Amazing Stories as well, Kenny. Or
Hmm.
whoever said that. Sorry.
Yeah,
He
thought
did two episodes for Amazing Story.
Yeah, 'cause he was he was hot back then. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that show. It didn't last very long though. I think it was on like a season or two. Amazing.
Had some good
Stories.
ones.
Yeah.
It was weird because some of them were like kind of uplifting, and then some of them went pretty hard into the horror.
Yeah, kind of dark themed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think Dante directed the Hell to Pay episode about a toupee that is possessed.
You're making that up.
No, I am not. It's called Hell to Pay.
What
That's great.
was that in?
I think
Which
that was in
one?
Amazing Stories.
Yeah.
It's listed on here. It says Boo and it says the Greeble. It's something like that. Geribble. The Greeble or Gribble. I don't know.
That's great, though. I don't care, Mr. Dan. That's great, man. That
That's pretty funny though. If that's
Yeah,
true.
I don't remember that one.
That might have been from another anthology show if I'm getting it wrong, but I seem to remember thinking it was only like about 15 to 20 minutes long. It was a short one, but I don't remember.
I know Dom DeLuise directed one of the Amazing Stories. That was pretty good. He had Burt Reynolds was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was Erie, Indiana? Do you guys remember as a television?
I remember that
show?
show. Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember
Yeah.
the name, but I don't think I watched it.
Yeah.
What was it about? Was it like a kind of a sci-fi type show or something?
Was it anthology stuff or it wasn't anthology.
I think it was about a town, and there was all kinds of creepy things going on simultaneously in the town.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I think it lasted a season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't on very long.
Didn't that come out about the same time Twin Peaks did, Dan?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
Because right around that time they did another show that I was absolutely hooked on that I would love to find a copy, American Gothic. You guys remember that
Oh
show?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That show was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
there was
Gary
a-
Cole. Gary Cole was the sheriff.
Yes.
The sheriff / the devil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know who the creator of that show was?
Oh, it was
Sean Cassidy,
Sean
teen
Cassidy.
pop star.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he got into like horror. That was pretty cool. And that I think that only lasted a season. Some shows are not. They're just too. They're too much of a niche. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is sad.
RoboCop for Stranger Things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim, that's about right. Yeah. Had that feeling. It had that thing about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it starred teenagers too
Mm-hmm.
here in Indiana. Yeah. That was a really good one. Is that on streaming anywhere that you can find that?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up and see.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. That
See,
you mentioned that.
I would love somebody to put out like a box set of shows like that. You know, American Gothic and Erie, Indiana on the same set.
Yeah.
Since
Oh, it's on Tubi, guys.
Ah,
Oh crap! Everything's
Erie,
on
Indiana.
Tubi sometimes.
Yeah, they claim that Stranger Things is kind of about. I haven't read into it a whole lot, but I've heard some people talk about it a little bit. But like supposed to be like about Operation Monarch, supposed to be like a secret government project going on. I think it was tied in with it was supposedly tied in with like the Philadelphia experiment and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
a lot of it's just debunked stuff because some of the people who come out and claim to be part of it are just clout chasers. But it's interesting. It's interesting nonetheless. Some of those conspiracies.
Hmm. Yeah, a
So
good conspiracy's pretty cool.
yeah, I enjoy reading a lot of them. I mean, the only ones that I really tend to buy into are usually government conspiracies when you can tie them to actual true events like JFK, 9/11, stuff like that. But that there's actually stuff you can follow the money, but some of these, but like flat Earth stuff like that's just ridiculous. I've always felt like the flat Earth stuff didn't really, it didn't emerge until recently. I mean, I know it's always been the undercurrent and supposedly around the flat Earth society and all this stuff, but it, I always felt that they kind of brought it out into the forefront after just to be like to discredit people. And it's like, oh, you're into the JFK, doing research into JFK and stuff like that. You must be a flat earther.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah, you know,
I was gonna say, Guillermo del Toro had a
yeah,
pretty cool show on Netflix. What was it? Cabinet of
yeah,
Curiosities.
hmm
That was pretty cool. I don't know if it's got any new seasons or not yet,
yeah.
but
You would think he would, the way his mind works, you would think he would want to,
Yeah.
keep that going, But I
mhm.
think there was only like what 8 episodes, maybe.
Yeah, first season I think. Yeah.
I would say like 5 of them were really good.
Hmm.
Like 2 of them were
yeah.
great, and like there's one or two that were, like usual, were like,
Like
yeah.
the dog.
But
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, Wag the Dog's a good movie.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
much so.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to get some filmmakers now to get their stuff out on Netflix. It's good and bad.
Yeah,
Netflix can be, you know.
yeah. I heard the new Beverly Hills Cop supposed to be decent, so I haven't sat down and watched it yet.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix anymore. I just got it for the month to watch Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, it keeps getting more expensive and more
Yeah,
expensive.
keeps going up and up and up. I've been watching
Yeah.
a lot of stuff on the Friendly channel, which has got like Me TV and Grit, and it's
How
got a
is
whole.
that?
It's pretty good. They show a lot of old TV shows, stuff you wouldn't think they would show, and
That's cool.
Dragnet, stuff like that. Kind of
I was
reminds me
thinking
of
about getting it for the cartoon one.
oh yeah, they just started that. That's pretty cool. It's not bad. I think it's like $6 for the basic subscription to it, and like 8 for the where you can even record stuff like in a cloud. Record episodes and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
So yeah, I got the basic, so it's pretty cool.
Have you ever checked out Shout Factory's YouTube page? Because they show a bunch of stuff on there. They stream
Yeah,
stuff all the time.
yeah,
yeah.
Mysteries. If you guys like
yeah.
Mystery Science Theater, they you can check out their YouTube page, and they're usually playing. They usually have like marathons all the time that they
Yeah.
just play. But also Shout Factory, like if you have Roku and have the Roku channel, or
Yeah.
probably like one of the other services, they usually play it all the time. It plays constantly on there.
Yeah,
But
that's
they showed like Speed Racer and stuff. They
Yeah.
showed Speed Racer marathons, and they were showing Carol Burnett one night, which makes me because I have all that. I have a bunch of that Carol Burnett. It was released by Time, I believe, Time Life or whatever released it, or,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm afraid that they're where I bought that. I'm afraid that Shout Factory is going to re-release all of it in better quality, which
probably.
it's not
Yeah.
bad quality. Like the picture looks all right, but they're still like you can tell that it's been like copied from videotape
Yeah.
because it's got sometimes it has tracking lines
Yeah.
in it like a video.
Mhm.
I mean, the picture
Yeah.
looks pretty good, but it could
Take
be
care, champ.
See you, Jim.
yeah. Sorry, I've got talking.
No problem.
I'm not taking
Well, John,
care
you
of this.
you said something about Time Life. Has
Yeah.
anybody on here ever ordered anything from the old TV commercials of Time Life and buy these 6 movies and shipping and handling and you know what I mean? All those different commercials and stuff. I never did buy anything on TV
Yeah, I
like
remember
that.
those. Yep.
Did Time Life come out with Monster Ballads? Was that Time Life? Every
Not
rocker
a
has a
Benz.
soft side.
Yeah, all those CD collections, record
Yeah,
collections.
I bought Monster Ballads. I was laid up at I had ruptured my Achilles tendon and I was in bed for 6 months. So this was before like the internet and all that. So 3 o'clock in the morning watching Nick at Night, between Mr. Ed, Monster Ballads came on. So it's like call him up,
Yeah,
I think I got Helen from Arizona on the phone.
yeah. I never did do that.
Did you get
No.
the Freedom Rock album, Kenny?
Yes, I did. I got
Freedom Rock.
two CDs. It was like
Turn it up, dude.
turn it up.
For the 2
Sweet
CD
home
collection.
Alabama. I
Monster
think it was like
Ballads.
2 CDs for 30. But if you go on, I swear, if you go, I'll find it and post it on our site. It's like
About
every rocker has a soft side. Monster Ballads. It's like
Mhm.
heaven isn't too far away.
You follow my journey. You follow my
Yeah.
I think that's why I
Columbia
have like
House.
little.
How many people? I did that. I think one time when I was in high school, I did Columbia House in Kansas.
yeah.
That
Yeah, I
time.
did.
We all did Columbia House.
Oh yeah, I got about 75 accounts spread out
Yeah.
under
This is
all
a-
my
this is a-
different aliases.
This is a true story.
Oh yeah,
My-
sorry. Go ahead, Kenny.
No, I'll make it fast. Mr. Dan knows what I'm talking about. It was called Washington Way Apartments, and my buddy was he lived in those apartments, and the whole one side of the was like the X side was all empty with apartments, and my friend delivered to those apartments. So what we did one night, we went on a Saturday night, just like put it on there, and it was like Mr. Kermit the Frog. And it was like apartment X12. So like all time. So like when they came in, we went over to Eric's house on his table. There had to be about like 40 boxes of just like free ones. So when the person moved into the apartment, they were like stuck with like, we don't know anything. We just moved into the apartments. We got so many free CDs from that. I'm going to probably go to hell for stealing from Columbia House, but it was
Yeah, I knew a guy in college that would do that in the summer. He would have them delivered to like all these. There was like a street where like almost every house was like occupied by students, and
okay.
he would just have them delivered to all these houses, and then he would just like collect the free ones.
The best was making up the names, for it.
Yeah, I had signed up my grandma's address, so I'd call my grandma. Hey, grandma, did that? Because I did get in the Columbia House Laserdisc Club. It was brief. It was brief time, but it was like, Grandma, did Star Wars come yet? Did Star Wars the Letterbox edition come? And she would just, it's like, no, it's not here yet.
That's funny.
Yeah, I remember. I forget which comedian it was. He was like, if the FBI ever has any problems finding anyone, they could just get the Columbia Records people to help them.
That's true. It's like how to be a criminal. They taught us all how to be criminals. Yeah, it was a good time. So,
And they would mail them out to you like all the time, and you got like those remember the little sticky ones where you had to like lick it and put it like on the stack of 12 cassettes or something like that.
Well, and that one where you had to put 1 penny, you had to tape 1 cent to the postcard. It's like tape penny here. It has a little spot for it. It's like it's all wobbly, I bet the mailman hated those things.
Yeah, and probably the employee that was opening them was like,
It's like, damn it, all the pennies fell off.
the hell with this, like.
Yeah, I finally bought a copy of this. I never had it on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
It's not like a super special edition. It's just after rewatching it, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Are those the people in that movie the most unrelatable people ever? Yeah, I mean, like even for the 80s, like they're the most,
even for the 80s, yeah.
I mean, the only people they relate to is the type of people they are. I mean, those people exist, but like who in the hell, like who in the normal, normal world would relate to kids who they're basically rich kids, like real rich kids who, yeah. It's
They were
crazy.
unlikable too.
Yeah, they weren't.
Yeah.
They were not likable kids, really.
Well, it's kind of like in the 1930s, like during the Depression, they would make movies with glamorous rich people and stories
Yeah.
and stuff because it gave people hope that, you know, that's the better life to attempt, you know, that you want. Everybody wants to be rich and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe that's kind of what it was. Like we're supposed to live up to these standards or something. I don't know what, you know. Maybe it's something deeper than that, but you know.
Well, I mean, but that was kind of how all these movies were in the '80s too. A lot of these people were like, I mean, there's people in movies are always not like real life. Very rarely, unless you get
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you got that too. Yeah.
you know, I mean, some filmmakers pull it off, but these were just like completely. It,
They're just
trying to think of how to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Douchebags.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Kenny. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the like the I'm trying. I want to say Bender, but Judd Nelson's role. Judd Nelson was a scumbag in that movie. The way he treated Ali Sheedy in that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, and then he was in Breakfast Club too, though. You know, he's kind of he was kind of the scumbag guy.
Yeah. Well, the reason I had to pick up a copy of it because I hadn't seen it in like for the '90s. Well, for me, it's definitely unrelatable because I was only a kid in the '80s. Like when those movies come out, I was probably only 7 years old.
Mhm.
And some of you guys probably watched them. Well,
Oh, that was me.
Kenny and-
Teenage years, absolutely.
and you were
Yeah.
probably a teenager who watched it then, but it's completely unrelatable to most people, though.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember watching St. Elmo's when I was like 7. It's like I didn't really get it. You know, you're just a kid watching it. You didn't really pick up on their.
The movie I always remember
Problems.
watching when I was. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
No, I was just making a quick roll. Yeah, just
The movie I always remember watching when I was a kid, and I would rent it, and there's those teachers, and there's a scene in it that obviously I'm a kid not supposed to be watching. So every time I'd watch it, my parents would let me watch the movie except for that one scene, and they would come in and fast forward with the scene where the teacher gets naked. He goes,
Jake Beth Williams.
yeah,
She runs out topless.
yeah.
yeah. I got to watch a lot of stuff. Probably shouldn't have watched, but not bad stuff. But watching Porky's when you're 8, it's kind of like okay.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good question, probably for you, Kenny and Mr. Dan. I was thinking about doing a video eventually on it, but was there back like whenever Cheech and Chong came out, the movies came out, not the records so much, but the movies. Were there clones of that stuff back in the late '70s? Can you guys remember of anything that was people that tried to copy that? Because it's so odd that they were, for the most part, they weren't. I mean, the first movie, Up in Smoke, was a big hit, but the other movies kind of not so much.
Well, next movie was a big hit.
Was it?
First
Was
two-
the next
yeah.
movie a big hit?
Yeah,
Okay.
first that one had I just did it today because it was like 42 years ago it came out. I think that made $43 million on a $5 million budget. But those were like Dan will tell you, those things were huge on cable. I mean, because before video stores, you had HBO, man, and Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday nights at 8:00. If a movie came on, your ass was in front of the TV watching HBO.
Yeah.
Because you had to talk to your friends on Monday morning, about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, because I'll never forget, because I was 11 when Arthur came out. That came out on a Saturday night at 8:00, and we all watched it. And that was probably something I should have not watched, but my mom, because it was PG, it was like. But oh man, and I drove my mom crazy acting like Dudley Moore in that movie for probably a year, walking around, with a British accent, But it was just like that. I don't remember any Cheech and Chong clones though.
No,
that's so strange. That's why I was thinking about it. Sorry, Dan.
Maybe not tell Kumar. Was it something in White Castle?
Yeah. Wasn't the two black rappers How High?
Yeah.
That was before that.
Kumar.
Yeah, I was just talking about that very era. People, the different studios trying to capitalize on the same.
John, there was so much going on in the '80s, man. To like capitalize, because if you go through like each like each year of the '80s, there was always something different. There was always a different trend. There was always
Well,
like from 80, like I was just thinking today. It was like '84. Okay, there was only 5 records that were number one throughout that year in '84. It was Thriller, Purple Rain, Huey Lewis and the News, Bruce Springsteen, and what the fuck was it? Like a Virgin. There was only 5 number 1. You think of all the music that came out in '84. Those were the only 5 number 1 albums in that year. That's crazy. And you think like when Top Gun came out, okay, '86, you had Iron Eagle, that came out.
Right.
That was sort of like that,
Yeah.
but everybody was like copying the trends. But that's a great point. I don't ever remember any like pot movies that were like in there, because everybody was copying from everybody. Like when Terminator came out in '84, you had like a whole bunch of like B movies that were like right to like video stores, because that's when video stores were starting to pop.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was the Reagan administration and kind of the say no to drugs stuff, why they didn't try to. A lot of studios wouldn't go. I don't know. It's weird because I mean, pot wasn't such a massive taboo. I guess it was more taboo then, but
yeah, but I think that was like right off of like because Cheech and Chong had like a resurgence like in the '80s.
I gotta go, guys. Sorry to interrupt. I gotta go.
See you, Jody.
The
Take care.
football practice just got over. I gotta start driving soon.
Okay,
that's cool.
All right, see you, Jody.
Y'all later.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you. Yeah, and it was just like right after because right after their I think their next movie was their last movie. They did the Corsican Brothers, and that totally bombed in the movies. That was totally way off. It didn't have the pot. They tried to do like a Monty Python kind of thing, and it did not work at all.
Well, it seems like it's not that bad though. Going back and rewatching it, it's not horrible, but it's definitely different. I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, that one movie is not. It's just a bunch of sketches. What is that? Cheech and Chong. What is that? Cheech and Chong. Is it Still Smoking, or something like that?
I think Nice Dreams was pretty good, and then it's like by like '86, '87 they weren't really anything because Cheech, did what Born in East LA movie or something, and they weren't really a thing anymore. So maybe that pressure, like you're talking about, John, the Dare, maybe it wasn't so cool anymore, I guess, at that point. So they were kind of solo or something.
Tommy Chong would have like a cameo in a movie,
Yeah.
Well, also like the '80s were kind of the Coke era too, Coke and crack and So I mean, even though that wouldn't be funny so much, but I think you seem it's just strange. I started thinking about that one day. I thought it's so strange that because they were fairly big movies, why they weren't copied, but they just, I guess it was because it's just a comedy team and they were original enough to be hard to copy. Well, and I do understand that wasn't going on as much. I mean, Hollywood's always remade and copied and stuff, but it wasn't there was a lot of creativity, like Kenny was saying, in the '80s and in the '70s, but there was a lot that came out in the '80s too. A lot of new, a lot of very original movies and things like that.
Yeah.
But
well, I think they they were around for a short period of time and became like legends, and then they kind of died off, and now they're kind of like everybody knows what they are again, because it's like you see them in advertisements, or the shirts are coming back, and it's kind of like that. So it's not like they were good and then they just disappeared and nobody ever heard of them again, and they were never relevant ever again. But they're still relevant now, I guess. But yeah, that's a good kind of question there, John. Just thinking.
Worst '80s movies I saw.
Yeah.
He always asks these questions that I've.
Hmm.
Even though I've seen a lot of movies, I just can't do
Hmm.
quick recall and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
worst.
Especially when it comes to what's the worst movie.
Yeah.
That's hard because the good movies could flash right in my head, but bad movies, not so much.
Yeah.
And a lot of the bad
I
ones
like
in the
those
80s,
questions.
like I like them, even though I know they're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have that, but then you have those ones where you just like,
Oh, I'm
this
sure.
was terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some slasher movies that were absolutely like unwatchable. I just don't remember all the names of them. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, I don't either, really. No. Um,
there's
I'm
there's
sure
that.
I've seen
You
a
know,
bunch, but
yeah, there's bad, and then there's like kind of bad, like that you forget.
mhm.
But for me, like a lot of movies Kenny may have saw in the '80s, I didn't see because I was a kid and I just did. I watched the big stuff and what I could rent. So I've been, the last 20 years re-exploring the '80s and finding movies I never saw that are really good. But when it comes to like the bad movies, for me personally, I'd have to see a list to be able to name it off. But I don't. A lot of times, I mean, I like bad movies, like watching Mystery Science Theater and stuff. But some of those movies aren't necessarily bad. They're just like products of their era,
Yeah, right,
really,
right.
and they're just so. But
Yeah,
yes,
some
there are definitely bad movies in the '80s. But trying to think
yeah.
because most of the movies I saw have been decent.
Yeah, some of those movies they show on Mystery Science, I don't know if I could watch them if they weren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They truly
Yeah.
are terrible movies. Some of them.
Yeah. Well, the ones where things happen, like I don't care what you say, Plan 9 from Outer Space is entertaining.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's things, it's
Yeah.
hilarious. But then there's some of those crime ones that they did where they were clearly
Yeah.
padding out the time
Yeah.
Mhm.
to get to like 80 minutes or 70 minutes. The guy
Yeah.
walks down the driveway, gets in the car, and they would make a joke about it. But how many jokes can you make about that? They would be
Yeah.
struggling to kind of come up with something. But when you do like I was a teenage werewolf, there's stuff happening to
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make jokes about.
Yeah. That's
You
funny
know,
how that is,
Yeah.
And it works, but it's
Plan
yeah.
9. On a. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, Mike. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
finishing. I was just gonna say, like you can really watch Plan 9 and what is it, Bride of the Monster or some of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
some of his
Glenn and
movies.
Glenda.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're watchable. You get something like
Yeah.
you said, Mr. Dan. You get
Well,
through
the
it, you know.
filmmaking. What I was going to say, Mike, is the filmmaking's not necessarily that bad. Now, I know like the props and stuff. That kind of stuff's bad. But if you watch the cutting and stuff, the technical stuff in the movies, they're not horrible. They were competently made, but they just, the acting's bad. The stuff
Mhm.
like that.
You could tell it was put together real fast. Just
Yeah.
quick script, and it was filmed in 2 days or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bride of the
for
Monster.
for what
Yeah.
they were in the day, what they were, because especially in those days, the indie movie wasn't a thing because equipment was so expensive.
Hmm.
And
But the drive-in was real popular, so you had a lot of
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
schlocky stuff. Would mix in with the good stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, that was that
Yeah.
the Bride of the Monster one. That was the first episode of Mystery Science Theater I ever saw. I remember I put it on. I think it was on in the morning. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and my dad and I were watching it. We were cracking up. I was just like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, yeah, it was great back in the day when it was like it was. Comedy Central was pretty new, and they would show that all the time, and that
Yeah.
that was just good. Like I didn't get it. I had to go to whenever I went to my grandpa's house because he lived out of town, and he got that on his cable thing, and it was always like, this is so exciting. Turkey
Yeah,
Day.
because
and
we
all that stuff.
we didn't have it where I was. In Washington Township, they had a different server. It was like Jones Intercable,
Mhm.
and we had Garden State, which is Comcast now. But we didn't get it, and I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? So he
Yeah.
brought in like 6 hours of it. 3 episodes of it.
Yeah.
I was like laughing myself silly. With it.
Yeah.
I think the first one I watched was EGA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Ken.
No, it's okay. I just mentioned that the other day because we were talking about my friend. I was on his channel. We were talking about the creature from the Black Lagoon. Like there's one part at the end where the backdrop of the cave looks kind of fake, and I made a comment. At least it wasn't as fake as the cave at Ega, where you can see the wrinkles in it because it's like a sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like some of those like Roman movies and stuff that like Roman Sinbad or like maybe not Sinbad like Hercules and stuff. But no, like my grandpa also had AMC and then he had TCM later on. It was like he had all the good channels before we ever got them.
Yeah,
it was cool memories going up there.
I like seeing boom mics, and I always like catching a boom mic in a movie.
Mhm.
I caught that the other day in something, and it was a good movie, and it caught the boom mic for a minute there because they would mat those for the theaters, and they would block out stuff sometimes, but they would get in there. I forgot what the movie was, but I did see that.
I just saw it in Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. I just saw it in the theater last month. And there's a boom mic in for about 5 seconds. I mean, it's not
long enough to see it. Yeah.
I was watching a movie once. It was I thought I saw one, and then I felt like an asshole because it's a weird like dune buggy kind of a movie from the 70s. Darren McGavin's in it. It's about some resistance movement. It's not very good. It's got a Corvette in it too. But I kept thinking, there's the boom mic. I kept thinking, how can they not notice it's this boom mic? Well, what it was the antenna on the dune buggy kept like bouncing into the.
Okay.
Oh yeah, had big old long.
And then I felt like an asshole. I was like, oh shit. All right, well.
Yeah, they had like 20-foot antennas on the dune buggies and stuff back then.
And some of the antennas they used to put, Dan, I remember this. They used to put like raccoon tails or something like on the top of the.
Right.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Like those 50s movies, like hot rodding movies or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I picked this up. I think it came out last week, but I picked it up. It's not bad. Challengers. Excuse me. Challengers. Zendaya. It's got Josh O'Connor and Mike Fast on it. Faced, I think.
Yeah, my local Walmart still gets a few, new releases. They're getting smaller and smaller, but I haven't been to the Super Center Walmart in a couple of weeks, so I need to go and check out some of the stuff.
Mine always seems like their new release area always seems bare. The last couple of times I've been in there, but they still get movies. It's just weird.
Yeah, and then Best Buy only has that small little island when you first walk in. It's got like walk around rack. That's all they have anymore at my local Best Buy. So
I didn't even know Best Buy was still getting that stuff because I thought they were going to cut out physical media completely.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but it's all the newest releases.
Some of the used ones I got from Dark Side Records, they had the plastic on it but with a Best Buy sticker. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I figure they got the Castaways from Best Buy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. But,
I've been getting a lot of stuff from Whatnot, so basically all my stuff is like about 20 or 30 years old, like the movies. John was nice enough to give me the code for Challengers. I haven't watched yet, but a lot of the stuff that I get are like older stuff.
Yeah, I recently got a bunch of Chuck Norris movies, like going back to the 70s ones without a mustache and everything.
Nice.
And I got a bunch of those, but I got them on DVD, and they're cheap that way, but they also give me that kind of feeling of back in the day watching a VHS, the quality of it kind of gives me that. Yeah, that's one of the ones I got. Yeah, but Force Vengeance. I thought that was pretty good, actually.
It was good.
Bad.
It's actually, I got a stack of 15 movies here because on Saturday I'm going back to my friend's channel to talk about my 15 favorite martial arts movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What channel is that, Dan? Bring it up.
The Mad Bloods.
Mad Bloods. Okay.
Yeah. But so I've been picking up Chuck Norris movies the last couple of years, and that one was actually really good and interesting too because that Hong Kong doesn't exist anymore. It was just a cool setting. Yeah.
It just was not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be the best one he ever made, but
Right.
I just did not remember that from my childhood, you know, and
Mhm.
stuff, and it turned out to be some real good martial arts in that
Yeah,
movie,
that's
like you
why I put
said.
it in because I wanted to have at least one Chuck movie, and I
Yeah.
it was either this or
Force One.
no Lone Wolf McQuade. But I haven't seen.
Oh,
I haven't seen that one in a long time, so I just went with this one because it
Yeah.
does have some good martial arts action in
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think that's the better choice, Dan. The other one is awesome, but I don't think it has the martial arts as
Right. Yeah.
much. It's got more gunplay and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
in it, but yeah, they're both really good
Yeah.
movies.
Of course, we get to see the nunchuck scene in Great Britain. They have to take those out.
Oh yeah,
So
there's
stupid.
that one scene where in Force Vengeance where the guy's doing it and he's just like he puts it on his
Tropic
neck
of
and walks away
Paradise.
because
Yeah.
he pulls a gun out, and that's a pretty funny scene.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, John, I didn't even see that, man. I was.
It's Trapped in Paradise.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's Nicolas Cage, John Lovitz, and Dana Carvey.
Yeah, I remember that. But like the
I,
cover reminds me of Grumpy Old Men a lot. Every time I see it,
yeah,
kind of looks similar.
yeah. I've seen it for a while, but I don't think it's ever been released on Blu-ray, so I just picked it up. I don't think unless it's like some weird out of print thing, but I've been wanting it for a while, and finally
Yeah,
picked it up.
I only ever see the VHS or the DVD when I go
Yeah,
thrift store. You know.
yeah.
Yeah, I picked up Enter the Dragon. Uh,
I love
so
that movie, man.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I haven't watched that. I'm not kidding you. Probably 30 years. I watched it with
Wow.
my uncle.
I
So
got
I'm
that.
looking forward. Dan was talking about that on his channel, and I was
Hmm.
like, I gotta
Yeah.
pick that up.
Yeah. I
I don't.
saw that. My brother and I saw it in the theater when they brought it back.
Oh
Wow,
wow.
really?
Yeah.
That was cool. Because when you watch it on the big screen, you can see Jackie Chan because you know he's in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Hmm.
You
Cool.
got to look hard, but
yeah,
he's a little easier to find on the big screen.
Yeah. I just
yeah. That
watched that
4K,
recently. Yeah, I watched that 4K, John. It
it
was
looks
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I no matter how many times I always watch that and I love it. I just always it's one of those movies you can just always
Oh, yeah.
watch. I don't know, it's just that good, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I got it for $1. It was a DVD. So
Wow. Cool.
I got it for $1. So
Yeah. I had to
and
get
it
the
was
4K because it's just one of my favorite type movies and
Yeah.
stuff, all around favorite.
Hmm.
well,
I had to get
that
that
was
4K.
I think that was on the Black Friday sale last year, right? On the Amazon for like $10. But I didn't
4K.
want to I didn't want to drop 10 and not know what it is, because I hadn't
Yeah.
seen it in like so long.
Yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
I'm not a big guy about slip covers all the time, but when I ordered that from Amazon, I was hoping it would have the slip on it for the 4K slip, and of course it didn't. I was like, oh man. So, oh well.
Now I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that set again. I didn't buy the 4K set because I think I have the Blu-ray set on. I think Criterion, the one they released a couple years
Oh
ago.
yeah,
But then they
yeah.
re-released. Is it the
Then
4K
there's
set?
the
I can't
Arrow.
remember, but they re-released it and everybody was buying it, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's the Arrow box
I'm not
set.
I'm not rebuying it. Yeah, I'm not rebuying that whole set
Well,
again.
yeah, I ended up getting it, and it's pretty good. It's got a lot of different stuff on there, supplements, and they
Yeah,
got 4Ks and Blu-rays mixture, and it's a good set. If you're a fan of martial arts or even
yeah,
Bruce Lee, it's worth it. Yeah, but
that's
it
cool.
might be out of print now. I'm not really sure on that one.
But I made sure I got the Enter the Dragon in 4K.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
You got
think of that.
I
Which
get
one?
just picked up. It's a used DVD of his movies. It's all 5 of his movies.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Enter the Dragon is always the odd one out because that was what Warner Brothers. So it's
yeah,
Yeah.
not
Warner
in
Brothers.
there. So what they do is they have Game of Death 2 in there, and I'm like, oh, come on, that's not really a Bruce Lee movie. But I
Yeah,
do have Enter the Dragon separately. I already had that. So
yeah. But does that one? I can't remember. Got Chuck Norris in it? I can't
uh
remember.
no, that's ah,
What is it? Not the way. Uh,
that's what I'm thinking. Way
I can't think of. Always. I know
yeah.
it's like 78, maybe something.
Hmm.
It's one of those Bruce Lee look-alike guys. They kind of mixed it up to finish the movie. They had like
they did.
yeah.
I need to get that set that I think you have that Game of Clones, don't you, Mr.
The enter the
Dan?
game. Yeah, the enter the. Yeah, see now I can't even. There's the documentaries called. It's so confusing because all the movies take little bits of Bruce Lee titles and mix them up. So
Yeah.
the documentary is called "The Clones of Bruce Lee." The set is called "Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee." I think. But yeah, the documentary was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. I want to try to find it.
Really interesting stuff. The fact that he found, most of these guys years later. He had to go to Taiwan and like go to this little tiny town to find the one guy who just practices medicine now and teaches kung fu for free. Really interesting stuff. And then the other guy, Dragon Lee, there was all these rumors that he was involved in like the Korean underworld and stuff. So
it's really interesting. Yeah.
He turned out he works for like what would be like the Screen Actors Guild though. He just works in an office, And so he was kind of skeptical. He was like, "You want to talk to me about what?" So, but then when
was it you, Dan, that was recommending King Boxer the other day?
Yeah, King Boxer. Yeah,
or the Five Fingers of Death.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna spend that tonight. I know it's one of my movies I was gonna watch this week, and I'm gonna watch that.
It's definitely good too, and it's funny to hear the sirens, the music that they used in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Which of course comes from Ironsides, and the way they, he does this thing where he puts his hand out, and they light up his hand real quick because he has, he's got the iron palm technique, So it's like cool.
Yeah, it's like that one and the One-Armed Swordsman are my favorite Shaw brothers of all time. Because I just love those.
That's a good one.
Have you ever seen Lady Snowblood? That's another one that influenced Kill Bill too.
Oh yeah,
it's got a bunch of influences for that one movie.
Yeah, those are pretty killer too. Yeah.
Well, the more,
first one.
Yeah, because you got the blood on the snow. But the more martial arts and actually just Asian cinema in general I watched, the more I'm like, were there any original ideas in Kill Bill? Even one of the chapters is called the battles of honor and humanity. That's a whole 5-movie series in Japan. It's a crime series.
Well, Hattori Hanzo, that's like a whole he
Sonny
Chiba, he played that character a bunch of times, didn't he? It's like 20 times or something crazy like that. I don't know if it's 20, but it's a bunch. He played it a bunch of times in different movies.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not fun, but I just, to me,
it's a great movie.
Yeah,
he's great at that, paying homage to the movies he loved. That's it.
Well, in the other Asian series, Lone Wolf and Cub, that's like one of my favorite series of films. And plus, it was on TV there. And stuff. But,
I got that. That's in my stack because I'm picking out one of those, and that was the kind of thing like, I saw Big Trouble in Little China in the theater when it came out. I was one of the few. Millside, the Millside Theater in Delran, Kenny, no longer in existence.
Okay.
Yeah. Millside 8. I think it was Millside 8.
Wow.
But I saw Angel Heart there. I can tell you exactly what movies I saw there. I saw the Transformers movie there. I saw Angel Heart there. I saw Big Trouble in Little China. I saw Lethal Weapon 4 there. Anyway, it was kind of cool to watch that. And then all of a sudden, like Tai Singh started putting out all these martial arts movies on VHS tape. And you would watch them and you'd be like, oh, that's where he got that from. Like flying in the air and like still fighting while you're that's from, that's from like Duel to the Death. I was like, it was so cool to go back and see that. And he got the 3 storms are pretty much an homage to the gods of death in Lone Wolf and Cub. It's just cool with the big hats.
Yeah. It's kind of got that wuxia, the wuxia fantasy element to they're jumping, they're doing all the acrobatics, and it's really interesting. It's really cool. Just all the artistry that goes into some of those. Something to appreciate.
Yeah. But it was hard to see those back then unless they came on TV, and those ones were like more like R-rated. So
Yeah. People did like tape trading back in the day. You know,
Yeah.
they would have VHS tape trading, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, there's some great ones, man. Some just great martial arts movies.
There's a lot of underground stuff I've kind of missed out on. Well, living where I lived at too, that you kind of got into more of that stuff if you lived in the city area because you had. But I mean, I would have been too young in the '80s anyways to have been involved in that stuff unless
Yeah, kind of the late
For-
part of it though, because there was still
Yeah.
you couldn't find stuff. You know, you hear
Yeah.
little bits about things and maybe a magazine or something.
Right. Yeah.
Or read books. I read a lot of books and be like, oh man, I'd love to see that, but
Right.
wasn't
Yeah,
available.
Like I don't think I ever saw a kung fu movie in the theater. Because, I lived in Willingboro growing up, and I don't know if Philly was a big city for that kind of thing. They probably had some, but like New York and San Francisco, they had theaters that just showed kung fu movies. And actually, that documentary, they talk about rescuing some of those movies. There were actually people that rescued movies out of dumpsters.
Oh
Because,
wow.
and that's why we have these preserved copies. Like chain of
Nice.
custody was like crazy,
Great.
wow.
Yeah.
So is that one on DVD? The one that we were talking about? What is it? The different Bruce Lee.
Pretty fly.
Bruce
Yeah,
Lee. What is
yeah.
it? What's it called?
What
I think it's Game of Clones, isn't it?
The whole
name of the
series?
set? Yeah, the set.
Yeah, the
Didn't they
documentary.
just come out with a set? Oh,
yeah,
okay,
the whole
I'm sorry.
set. Yeah, you hold on. I'll go get it. Let me get it.
I might be wrong. I thought
Let me get it.
I might be wrong.
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's like
I think the
the more we talk about it, it's like, man, I want to see that documentary now.
like one of like Arrow or somebody released like a whole set of them. I'm not sure if it's Arrow.
Mike,
it's one of,
it's called the Game of Clones. It's on Amazon.
Oh, okay, Game of Clones.
Yeah, and it's called the Bruce Exploitation Collection, Volume 1.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I was wanting to watch that documentary, but
Because
yeah.
I got into it because because I used to watch the Kung Fu stuff when I was a kid, like in the 70s and stuff like that. But Mr. Dan started bringing these up, and I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. So he started bringing up like the Bruce Lei, the Bruce Lei, and then he had got some from, I think he got the first one from Hamilton Book. He might bring that too. He got the first one from Hamilton Book, and it was like a 10 movie set.
Mhm.
And then he got the next one from Dark Side Records.
Okay.
So he'll probably show that. I'm going back and forth because I pulled my back out this afternoon, so I'm just like trying to get comfortable. That's why I keep on leaning back and moving forward.
Yeah.
So that set that Dan's got is like really cool because that's the first one because I told you guys before I used to in the especially the early 80s when VHS came out, anything that said Sho Khashoggi, me and my brother rented it, like Pray for Death, Marked for Death, and he had a whole bunch of other ones, but those were like the ones. And then my uncle in his basement where he used to like tinker with stuff like toaster broke, try to fix that. He used to have the Bruce Lee picture with the the slashes on his chest.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I was like, who's that guy?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see, a lot of martial arts stuff back in like the late '80s and stuff where I lived, because they would have a martial arts section in the video store, but it would just be Bruce Lee. It'd be like 5 films, and then there'd be like some junky stuff. It was like this little small thing, and that's all we had to rent, back then. But,
yeah, well, Dan introduced me to Sonny Chiba. I never heard of him before.
yeah,
so I was just like, I didn't know that. There you go, Mike.
The Game of Clones, the Bruce Exploitation Collection. So then the documentary is called Enter the Clones of Bruce. Okay, so there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is the same guys that were behind this are now getting some of those more obscure movies and putting them out. And that's how I actually watched that one. That's right here, Dynamo. That's how I learned about Dynamo, Kenny.
Yeah, That's on Tubi, because as soon as I watched Dan's video, I watched it, and when I commented on it, I'm like, thanks to you, I watched that on Tubi.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because that's actually a movie that it's almost like about being a Bruceploitation actor. Like the movie, that's what the movie's about, and it's
he was a taxi driver.
Yeah, and it was like very self-aware. I don't even know if they realized it at the time with how clever that was, but.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
it
was
has one of the
Severin put it
watch
out?
watch that Dynamo though, Mike. It's on Tubi. That French broad in that is
Oh,
so gorgeous. Good.
Oh, wow.
Golly, is she?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been jotting down stuff while we've been talking. So
I keep a book, and I'm watching. I'm like, and that's why when I bought that Drive-In Delirium set. There's like so many, and it's just basically trailers. It's like 6 hours of trailers, and it's like I wrote all these down, and it's like trying to find. I try to break 2 or 3 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like. Cool. I like in UHF. You said broads. I like in UHF where he's talking the station owner's talking to Fran Dresser. He's mad because his reporters called her a broad.
Yeah,
and he's like, I specifically told my reporters never to call chicks broads.
That's something I picked up from my uncle, because we used to go over to Berlin Auction all the time during the summer, and me and him would fall back, and he'd go, KJ, check out the sticks on that broad, like that, the legs, so it's like,
that's more in your guys' neighbor, that terminology. Well, it's everywhere, but it's more frequently used in that neck of the woods, the kind of Philadelphia, New York, that kind of New Jersey area. I think that's where it was. It was probably where it was invented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think Frank Sinatra came out with that too. Dumb broad.
Broads.
Something like that.
Get your broads.
Yeah.
But I used to.
You're in the Philadelphia area too, aren't you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm right across the river from Philly, basically. Yeah. Okay. So, like tomorrow morning, I got to wake up. I got to drive to Philly to feed some damn fish at my daughter's apartment. My wife got them fish right before they went away for 2 months. I mean, they're only in Maryland, but still, damn it.
Yeah. Some tropical fish or something like that.
Yeah, they have like a little. Actually, okay, so my physical media. I haven't had all my intros in my videos because I'm having problems uploading videos. So I'm having to take stuff out and try again. It's a real pain in the butt. But my intro where I spin around and it looks like I'm in the woods.
The box.
Yeah. I put my iPad in a potted plant, and because they have this little grotto with some plants and stuff in there, and they had a little koi pond in there. Not very big, but and then it I think they died, and then but my wife wanted to start it up again. So that's where I filmed that.
I like it.
I love that. I love that intro, Dan. Though that's pretty cool.
I like it because it's sort of like the beginning of In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Right.
You got the light in the dark. It's like I love that.
Yeah. That's funny.
I wish I was technical to do anything, because when I'm doing it, I just let it run.
Mm-hmm.
And
those kind of videos are fun too. Like you don't need all that stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just get a kick. I just get a kick out of it. There's another one. There's another guy that does it. Brendan Cinefessions. Yeah, because he does these weird cuts where it's like sort of like a 70s 70s game show where it's like he's there, and then all of a sudden it'll zoom back out again, and then come back. My next video, know. Yeah, this one I just picked up. This was going to be my pick of the week. If you guys Soldier.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, this was so. I hadn't seen this since I seen it in the movies, and this was another one of the ones I picked up for $1 on the Whatnot.
Yeah.
And this was done by Paul Anderson. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's supposed to take place. People say it takes place in the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is kind of
I had
clever.
no idea. And this
That's
was
cool.
really good.
Yeah,
This was really good.
you know what? And I think I don't know why Jason Scott Lee, who's the bad guy now, I don't know why he wasn't bigger.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
was
I
in
don't know
some-
why Morris Chestnut wasn't bigger either. I thought he was
Yeah.
really a good actor too.
Yeah, he was definitely good.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, you never did.
But as far as action goes, I mean, Jason Scott Lee, he was in that biography of Bruce Lee, and to be honest, he doesn't really look like him. But okay, whatever. That was okay, but I think he should have been bigger. You know, he was great in that. I mean,
Yeah, it would have been cool if they just did a series of movies with him. Just, they didn't have to be big budget movies, but just, just genre, just fighting movies or something. It could have caught on after a while.
Yeah.
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 I don't know why. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity, I
Yeah,
guess.
I know the guy from Iron Chef, the Mark. What is his name? Mark Casuelis or something. He's like the judge on Iron Chef on Food Network. He's dug himself out a nice action movie career. And he's in every bad action movie that you ever want to come up with.
Yeah.
There was one. There was just one on MVD that was for sale that he was to star in.
okay. Yeah, they've got some not great ones on MDV for sure. I don't know where I have it is. I got one from the 80s. Oh, I started it and I was like, it's got good people. And it's got that Mako in it and some good people. It's just one of those like sort of American made, trying to capitalize on the trend kind of movies. But I'll probably finish it anyway.
Yeah, there was a lot of those in the early 80s.
Oh yeah. But the one the Tai Sing company they put out, they had from the video store I worked at, they had a VHS tape just of trailers. So they gave it to me, and I used to watch it all the time. And there's one actor in the 80s that was popular in Hong Kong, Yam Ching Ling. And at the time, they had a show called Yan Can Cook. Remember that?
Oh yeah, Martin Yan.
So they advertised the series of movies as Yam Can Kill.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was like the Yam Can Kill series. I was like,
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah, Martin Yan was great because I used to watch him every Sunday. He was on because it was like that block with the Frugal Gourmet and him.
Yeah.
When they were on the 80s. Choppy chop 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 with that cleaver. I could never do that. We always reenacted it at school and stuff like that. We were doing it, and our head chefs would come over and just smack us in the back of the head. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
See Martin Yan do it. He's on TV, stupid. You're not.
My wife's pretty good with a cleaver.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah, she could take apart a duck pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a special gift to do that with a cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
Because you usually have to use it with a boning knife.
Yeah.
Boning knife, guys, is a thin knife, not like the chef's knives, which are thick bladed ones.
Right.
Isn't it curved? Isn't it curved a little bit?
Yeah, it's got like a curve. It's sort of like it's a bigger extension of a Perry knife.
Oh yeah.
So sorry to get culinary technical there.
That's all right.
Now I guess if you had a really sharp cleaver, you could do everything.
We
Use
used to have
sides of it.
cleavers at work, and they used to do with prime rib. And they used to cut it with the prime rib, and this shit was so thick, so sharp that when it went down, it just fell off. You had to be. That was like special to do that because I see like these guys when we like trim the fat of the prime rib and stuff like that. And these guys would just like two slices and like all the fat's coming off. I'm like, better than me.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry. They probably after they got their Freedom Rock CD, they probably got their Ginsu knives from TV.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The Ginsu knives.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people hawking stuff on some of these YouTube people, they have sponsors, and they were hawking some stuff like last year, and it was one of them was knives. They were all hawking these knives. It's basically like the Ginsu thing. It was just bull crap, and it was a fraud for the most part. And they were also hawking. Well, there was this other thing. It was like you could buy land, and you could buy like supposedly a piece of land in Scotland or something.
Oh,
You could
yeah.
consider yourself a lord or lady just because
Oh,
you
my
technically
goodness.
own this like tiny part. It was nothing. It was like it's like buying a. It was like buying a star or something.
Yeah,
People
right.
do it. It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious about that. I looked into it. It was like $58, I believe, plus something. There was some added stuff too. It was just like,
Yeah, but it's ran out from like a Chinese company or something. They traced it back to like a Chinese company owned it, and the knives were supposedly Japanese, and it was all Chinese ran. Both of it. It was like traced back. Is the same company, I think, doing both. I know a couple people just kept running the ads. I think they took money from them. They were paying money to the people who they were selling it, but it was just a scam for the most part for the people buying the product.
wow.
But they were paying the YouTuber, pretty good money to advertise.
Yeah.
So some of the guys just
Wow.
kept advertising because they were getting good money to advertise on their channels.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Some of these YouTubers now, when you go into their pages, it's like for a 20-minute video, it's like now I'm only at 200 subscribers, so I'll never be monetized. But it's like they have 5 different breaks, and each is sponsored by somebody, and it's like they actually have good stuff on there, and you're interested to find out. But man, the monetization, whatever that word is, to sit through watching a 20-minute video for 5, and every video is like a political ad now on YouTube. So it's like, and it's like I try to stay away from that stuff. So it's just like all the monetization, that they're doing, or it's probably not even worth watching their videos.
Yeah, some of them is just.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have at least on this channel, I have I pay for it or whatever, a little bit a month. So I get it ad free. So
yeah, that's what I do too. Yeah, it's kind of saves you a headache sometimes, So as long as they don't jack the price way up, then I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool though.
I watch it enough that it's worth it. I get under, but the problem is people still put their own ads on there. They do their own ad reads for companies that sponsor them outside of YouTube. So
and some of those can end up being like 5 minutes long or something.
Yeah, but at least you can fast forward through it.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So.
Yeah.
I forget what the last movie I watched on Tubi was. Man, it was short. Oh, I think it was a Puppet Master movie. I think it was Retro Puppet Master.
No.
Good Lord, the ads though. My gosh, it just seemed like one the other. One,
I just watched Redstone today with Neil McDonough.
Neil McDonough.
Yeah, I think there was like 6 ads and it was 140 minutes. And I think as long if you keep on, like I watched 2 movies back to back, and it seemed like the ads were getting shorter as the movie got longer. And plus you're watching a full moon movie too.
Yeah.
On that full moon section, they have like lots of ads on there, because there was one that I watched with it was like one of those like softcore Cinemax movies. I think it was like, what the hell was it? It has the girl from what's her name from the Drive-In, Diana Prince.
Oh yeah.
It was one of the Charles Band's wife was in it too. Oh, it was like Bride Animator or something like that, Alienator or something, whatever. It was like really bad. It was only 50 minutes long, but it was like that had, like you said, 6 different ads, in it, and it was like long, At one point, it was like good because I had to go to the bathroom, so it was like okay.
Just like when you back in the day when you were watching TV, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
we some friends we tried to watch a movie on Tubi together once on YouTube. And it was like me and like there was the one girl was in New York and my other friend Karen's in Canada. So when the ad break would come, we would say, "What ad do you? What you know?" We were curious. What do you see? There's a car ad, and someone else would get a different ad.
Oh,
But
that's
the problem was-
interesting.
But the problem was like she was getting like a 30 seconds of ad, and we were getting a minute. So then now the movie was out of sync.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah, by a couple
Yeah.
seconds here and there. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a cool idea
I've
to do
noticed
that.
that too. Yeah, it's kind of like maybe it's regional, you know, because
Mhm.
sometimes it'll come on at cut. Just there's a cut of the end of the other
Yeah.
one. You know,
Yeah.
just like
And it's
yeah.
something. It's like a regional company.
Mm.
We'll call it.
And sometimes, do you guys get foreign languages on yours too?
Spanish. I got a couple
Yeah.
Spanish.
Well, but
Like a Spanish Instacart?
Thanks.
I don't. Yeah, it might have been Spanish Instacart. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, because it's just me here, so it's like I barely speak English,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just like,
Hey John, that Columbo set was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's that one where they had like a recall on it or something, wasn't it? They had to cut something out, or they didn't release it when it was supposed to because they had to change the special features.
that's
Yeah,
the return. That's the
Mm.
return
Oh.
right there. But I have the other set as well.
is that
The
just
'70s.
television
There's the
movie?
'70s, and then there's the return,
Oh, okay, okay.
which is the last of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, fellas, I know Mr. Dan just moved, but we're probably you guys ready to cut her off here? It's been 2
Yeah, we
hours,
can do it.
believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm about ready
I'm trying
to
just
settle
to
in.
keep it at 2 hours, so it don't
Mhm.
get super long. Everybody kind of. If that's all right with you guys.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm settling in and
yeah,
watch a movie and go to bed probably.
Hey,
Mhm.
hey, Kenny, would you want to? Problem is, I mean, all of us here probably had no problem doing it, but start doing like we were doing before. At least like have like a movie assignment to watch each week to watch one movie, like on Tubi or something that we can
Yeah.
all access.
Yeah, you want me to get a Tubi? I have.
Yeah.
I only have probably about 800 on my watch
Yeah.
list on Tubi.
Yeah, you can make a recommend. Well, different people make a recommendation each week on one movie, so we have like one thing we can discuss each week.
Mhm.
I like having the open discussion as well, but something we can talk about.
Yeah,
All
yeah, that's a
right.
good idea. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
one right here. It's called The Lineup. It's a 1958 movie with and it just started too. It was so excited.
Oh, does that got it's
Eli
directed by-
Wallach, Robert
yeah,
Keith, Richard Jackal.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
That's
it's got
okay,
Eli
you did see-
Wallach. Yeah,
Yeah, you did see that one? Okay, I'll give you another one.
well, it's directed by Don Siegel. It's one of his early.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Is it Don Siegel?
Yeah, yeah, you went on.
Definitely
to
gotta watch
Don
that.
Clint, what do you call it? Dirty Harry and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All
He's
right.
done a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll give you
pretty
another
good.
one that I was just going to watch. It is. Let me get the original one. Okay, it's called 633 Squadron. That was exciting too. And it's Cliff Robertson, George Chakiris, and the tagline is "Courage and stunning self-sacrifice clash against the powers of evil in this World War II epic set in the aerial battlefields of war-torn Europe." So they made that in '64, and then they made a sequel in '69 called Mosquito Squadron,
Oh, okay. I've heard of that one too.
and both
Pretty
have
cool.
Cliff Robertson in it.
And that's on Tubi.
Nice.
That is on Tubi, not a sponsor yet.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out this week.
Yeah, it's 633 Squadron, and then it's right next to Mosquito Squadron.
Yeah,
So-
I've been watching a lot of Gunsmoke.
That's funny because I've been watching The Rifleman.
Yeah, and the Rifleman. Yeah.
I'm on like episode 25 now.
Mm.
Crazy guest stars in the first season. Oh
Yeah, yeah. I like spotting all the character actors. you
yeah,
know,
Dennis
back then.
Hopper, Michael Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Uh,
cool to see all those people.
I think Burt Reynolds is supposed to be in one of those seasons of
Oh, really?
Is it Gunsmoke or something else?
Yeah, he's in Gunsmoke regularly. At some
Okay.
point, I can't remember what season but he's on there for several seasons.
Yeah, I
He
think
Which
on
comes on
season
as like an
4
indie. He comes on like an Indian like character, and he kind of
blends into with
evolves where
everybody.
he's semi regular. I don't think he's on every episode, but he's like a semi regular for a couple
which one was
for
Clint
several
Eastwood in?
seasons. Um,
Rawhide.
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 Yeah, Rawhide.
I'm trying. I think I have like season 4 of that. I'm trying to, you know, how Hamilton Books is, right? They'll have like odd seasons
Yeah.
here and there,
Yeah.
so it might take you a while or never to get
Yeah.
the whole series. But
Exactly.
yeah, I definitely want
I've
to.
got the whole series. So that,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to.
Sometimes when you're looking for sets like that, Dan, don't look on Amazon. Look on. I mean, you know, probably would look probably better than me, but like eBay, like for some reason,
Mhm.
like if you go to Amazon, they'll have a set for like say $100, and you go to eBay and they'll have the same set for 50.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I found that a
Yeah.
lot of times it'll be like almost half off. Sometimes it's crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll be selling something and it'll say used, and you get it and it's brand new, never
Yeah.
been
Yeah,
open
listen.
or anything.
That's
So,
how I got the Kung Fu series. It was used from Dark Side Records again, but it was still in the
Mhm.
plastic.
Yeah, that's always a cool surprise when you get it. You know,
Do you,
open
do
it
you
up.
have that set?
Yep.
Yeah, we got
The worst
that
thing
too.
about
Yeah.
mine was new, but I don't know where it came from. But do you see I mean, the box
Oh.
don't really matter, but see
Uh-huh.
how it's kind of
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, that's how mine was. It was brand new, but I've used it a lot. I've been watching it a lot, getting it out, putting it up and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of
That's one I got to pick up, the Kung Fu one.
Yeah. That has a lot of great guest stars too.
Mhm.
More of like the modern age, Harrison Ford, people like that.
Yeah.
You know, got big after that.
yeah. I like spotting those people. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
John Saxon, William Shatner with a beard.
Yeah, he's always in
Yeah.
something on TV after
Yeah.
Star Trek. He was always popping up.
That
somewhere.
Dukes of Hazzard set was like that. They were like, I think even Walmart was selling at the time for like $80, $70 or $80, and I think I got it for like 30 or 40 on.
Yeah, recently I
eBay.
saw that at Walmart, and they were it's like $34 now
Oh, really? Yeah.
at Walmart. I don't know if it's changed, if they've changed it any, or if it's the original still. You know, but yeah. But yeah, there's so
Yeah,
many good TV shows out there. There's like millions of it seems like millions of good TV shows. You know, all the years.
Yeah, I watched a video with John Snyder. I don't know if he has his own. I think he has his own YouTube page. I can't remember, but he has his own like General Lee and all this stuff, and he was talking about it. And he's like, "Yeah, it has to have this or this to be from it. Well, yeah, we never use this in the car. If you have this on your car, you know, he
Mhm.
going all through the different details of the car, which is pretty cool. That he, you know, a lot of actors don't really care about that stuff, but I guess they had to have but he was a big fan of at least that car. You know.
Yeah. I know the one they used to jump in the windows didn't have the they had the buttons to lock the car. Remember
Mhm.
those?
Oh yeah.
Stuck up
Yeah.
like an inch. They didn't have those because they didn't want to get clipped jumping through the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would have been right there. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I never thought about that. You know, that's one of those things you don't think about.
right.
Well, he was saying some of his cars, the cars had rollover bars in them because it's supposed to be like a race car. But he said sometimes the car wouldn't have them, so they would just literally hang like the bars in there like on something. So when they were filming, it looked like it had roll bars. You know, just getting away with stuff. They had to trash so many 69,
Yeah.
60, the 69 Chargers. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't believe people can still find them anymore after they film that show. And find one to restore. No telling how many they went through.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
used a bunch on there.
Yeah.
There was a guy in my the Hot Wheels club I used to go to. He restored one. He had and then he used to go to like shows and stuff, and they saw it in the parking lot. And then who was it? Ben, the actor that played Cooter,
And Jones.
Ben Jones.
Oh,
His wife called him up one day because she like used to manage all that,
Yeah.
and asked him if he wanted to be in the show. Like when you lifted up the hood, he had all these signatures. I don't know if he had
that's
the
cool.
two big ones, but he had I think he even had like Coy and Vance, and
Wow.
Yeah,
remember Coy and Vance?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
yeah. I don't know if it's a chain store, but down in Nashville, there's a Cooter's Garage, and
Oh, neat.
it's all done up, and they got a car out there,
Yeah.
done up a replica, and then they got like his tow truck and stuff, and it's a restaurant, gift store type
Did
of
you
place.
did you say Nashville?
Nashville, yeah,
Yeah, because they have one in Gatlinburg as well.
yeah. See, I wasn't for
Yeah,
sure if it was a chain
yeah.
or not, but yeah, that's
I
pretty
think
cool.
they are. I don't know where all the locations are, but I know they had one there as well. So
Yeah, might be
yeah,
just a Tennessee thing,
yeah. Well, Kentucky actually has a hazard. We have a city named Hazard, not Hazard County.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of rough.
Oh
Eastern
yeah, yeah. I'm
Kentucky.
sorry, Mike. I was kind of for some reason I was pointing at you. You live in Kentucky too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like don't judge us all by the hillbillies you see on the east
Yeah.
side. We're better. We're more dignified over here.
Now that is in Eastern Kentucky. That's like in kind of right in coal country.
Hmm.
At least
Yeah.
that's where the trains ran through. Because my uncle, he used to be he worked. He was a brakeman on a train, and he used to always have to. He always had to drive the Hazard to get on the train he was working on, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool job,
Yeah.
to work on a train. Sometimes I think about that. I was like, man, it's not something you can do too much nowadays, but
Yeah.
it's not as common. But
Well, that's Kentucky coal country, not like I've been up in West Virginia where kind of it's like I worked with these guys like back in 2004, this guy and a girl, and they had stored some furniture and stuff in their like grandparents' house, and they lived like in the middle of, I can't remember the name of the town now, but you had to go through this little town he went into. It had like a little archway over the road that said gateway to the coal country, gateway to coal country, and you like to get to their house, you had to drive through we call them hollers here, but like down in these valleys where the road was, and you would pass all these coal companies where the chutes would be running across the road, and you could see some of the mountains where they had surface mined, and the whole top of the mountain would just be flat where they
yeah, blew it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty wild up there.
It's beautiful country out there. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, but it's just been
Yeah.
decimated by drugs and the closing of the coal mines and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then West Virginia, it's kind of connected right there, so it's all kind of similar.
Yeah. Well, the reason why the guy was here, he was from Virginia. The reason why he was up here was because his dad was dying of black lung, and he wanted to be close to him. But his dad lived like in Winchester, in Kentucky here, and he was like, "Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world.
Big industry one time, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, like in where I'm from, that's where when I was a baby, that's where my dad worked. He worked at a place called Southeast Coal. It was a coal wash. They take the coal from the ground and they wash it so it's not dirty when it goes into the burn, to the
Furnaces
power
and
plant.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
So
a little
that's-
side note there.
yeah. Because Irvin, where I'm from, had a huge rail yard there. So that's a big part of the industry there for a long time. But that's how it is. That's how it is in this area. The drugs. These real small towns have just been overrun by drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Kentucky's got a lot of counties. They got like the most counties in any other state or something like that. Like
Yeah.
these little small towns and stuff. They're dotted everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I guess we're about ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
Everybody, appreciate you guys coming by and listening to us.
Yeah. Had
Appreciate
fun
all
tonight,
your
guys.
comments this evening, and I hope that so many people weren't sending me more, but it stopped. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Well, until next week, we'll Kenny, send me that movie in the chat sometime so I can remember it, and
Sure.
and I'll take a look at it this week. We can talk about it next week.
Hmm.
And as always, Dan, you're always welcome on here. I understand when you're not able to, that's fine.
Right.
We have people that rotate in and out, and I'm
Mhm.
glad to see you back, Mike. Hopefully you can join
Yeah.
us every week too.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
how
thanks.
it is.
Yeah, it's good to be back and see you guys. It's been a while.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's good
Well-
talking to you, Mr. Dan, as always.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You too. Thanks.
Yeah, see you guys.
All
See
right.
you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good
See you
night.
later.
All
See ya.
right.